All right, y'all. Thank you for bearing with me. I've been having a lot of technical difficulties, but we are here. Wait, hold on, because now Instagram is tripping. Instagram always be tripping every time I go live. Literally every time. Anyway, what's up? What's up? What's up, these peeps? I want to give a huge shout out. I just saw that as of this evening, literally as of this last hour, we have hit 5,000 subscribers. Yay! I should have input a little applause sound, but I'm so very happy because I have been working diligently and very hard to continue to grow my channel. I want to just say thank you to everyone who has been supporting my channel. Thank you to everyone who has been sharing content. And, just tuning in and just especially y'all to be down in the comments. I got to give a shout out to my already subscribed DzPeepz because y'all be having me laughing my motherfucking ass off in these comments. So I really appreciate y'all. Give me 1 second, y'all, because I'm still trying to make sure that it's visible on all of my social media platforms. Give me 1 second here. So tonight I will be talking about the video, and I'm gonna show y'all the video clip from Jaguar Wright. Look, I don't care what nobody says. As far as I'm concerned, Jaguar being the whistleblower is the best thing that could have ever happened. And I watched the whole interview that was on YouTube with Rhianna's publicist, Jonathan Hayes. And I said, I just don't believe all these people are lying. I really don't believe all of these people are lying. Okay, so we're live on Facebook. Let me just double check my channel because I could see it on the streaming device, but let me make sure. Okay, fantastic. So I see that we live on YouTube, we're live on Facebook. Instagram be the only one that be giving me issues. So y'all give me a second so I can check the Instagram to see if it's showing that I'm live. One moment. No, I'm done editing. Okay, so it looks like the reel posted. I'm checking to see if it shows. Oh, fantastic. Okay. So it does show that I'm live. Okay, that's what's up. So anyway, tonight's live is going to be about Jaguar Wright. Because everybody knows Jaguar been speaking out about Diddy and Jay-Z for years, like literally for years. And the fact that Diddy is now arrested and, his trial is set for next year, which I think that's crazy that they dragging it all the way out till May. But hey, I don't work for the judicial system. It ain't up to me. But like I said, I was so glad to come across this video on YouTube because with YouTube, they always have the algorithm. Once you watch one subject of a video, they're going to automatically, pop in your feed, similar videos. And so I saw it a couple of days ago and I finally had a chance to watch the full interview last night. And I was like, wow, because the Piers Morgan interview was enough in and of itself. And of course, a lot of people were, talking shit because Pierce apologized. But when you work for a corporation, you have to do what that corporation tells you to do. Now, and I have to just ask y'all to excuse the background noise because the neighbors where I am at, everybody has dogs and they're loud as fuck. So forget the background noise. I can't do nothing about it. But anyway, the Piers Morgan interview. Oh, I forgot to send this. Y'all bear with me. There was a couple of people that asked me to text them once I started to go live. When she went on there, I felt like finally on a major platform outside of YouTube, Jaguar is getting a chance to speak her truth. And hold on, live now, tune in. Okay, so I was like, okay, I enjoyed the interview with Piers Morgan. Because even he was, telling Vlad, like, how could you see that video of, Diddy assaulting Cassie and not feel, something towards it. And so the way that Piers Morgan, conducted the interview, he was very diplomatic, but he also kept it real, like, hey, that wasn't cool, at all. So, oh, and just for anybody who tries to tune in to talk shit, again, let me just go on and say it, even though I have the copyright disclaimer across the bottom of my channel, all commentary on my channel is alleged and it is my opinion. And that's why I have to make sure I say alleged and it's my opinion. So this is essentially a reaction video to, the interview that I watched. Then I'm seeing Ray J jumping up on YouTube and Instagram talking about Jaguar's full of shit. She's janky as fuck. Well, Ray J, we would expect that from a motherfucker that participated in the shit with Diddy. So let's just keep it a stack. What I realize is that the people who have been named in participating in the Diddy freak-offs are all either being silent or being defensive. And like the old adage says, a hit dog will holler. And Ray J, you doing a whole lot of ranting and raving, making yourself look guilty. Because most people, if they're not guilty of something, they don't go to such great lengths to be defensive. So I pulled up that video as well. But I'm going to show y'all the first video. So Rhianna's publicist, his name is Jonathan Hayes. He was initially Rhianna's publicist when she first got signed to Jay-Z's label. So we're talking like in her minor years, I believe she was between the ages of like 14 and 16 when she first got signed. So, like I said, excuse the barking. A lot of motherfuckers up here got dogs and they're just loud as shit. Oh my God, please shut that motherfucker up. Jesus Christ. It's like everybody who is walking their dogs, the dogs are all fighting with each other. Like, why is everybody walking their dogs this late at night? Shut the fuck up. That shit irritates the hell out of me because I can't even hear myself talk for hearing them, goddamn. But anyway, Rhianna was initially signed to Roc Nation, signed to Jay-Z's label, and Jonathan Hayes was initially her handler. And so he has his own inside information, just like Jaguar does, because Jaguar, she said it, she's been in the industry since she was 13. She has over 3 decades of experience and she spoke her truth. And one thing I never ever want to do is, discredit another woman's truth, another woman's experience. So for those who, are saying, especially like Ray J, oh, she's lying, she's full of shit. Nah, Ray J, because I even found photos of you at Diddy's parties. So why would you be so defensive and say she's lying on Jay-Z? And then think about it. Jay-Z and Beyonce, of course, have not responded, but they definitely threatened to sue the corporation for the Piers Morgan interview. And then after that, he had to apologize and all this other stuff happened. So again, a hit dog will holler. If they're innocent, why are you being defensive? Why are you trying to come for Piers, but not for Jaguar? Because she has actual evidence and proof of what she's talking about. And like she said in another interview that I watched, the one that was on the Real Life Productions, she said the truth doesn't need support. It just needs time and space. And that is very much so true. The truth just needs time and space, just like me speaking my truth and, people being upset about that. And, you shouldn't say nothing. Okay, but time will tell, motherfuckers. So I agree with Jaguar. I support Jaguar. So let me do this. I'm going to start showing y'all this video. There were, okay, I don't need the tips. Get off the channel. There were parts in, oh wait, this is the wrong, hold up, y'all. We're going to talk about the Jaguar Wright and Orlando Brown video tomorrow because that was hilarious. It was absolutely hilarious. And I have to cover that one tomorrow if I can. I just remembered I'm supposed to be working tomorrow. So if it ain't tomorrow, it'll be, later this week. But the interview she did with Orlando Brown was epic and just funny as hell. But the interview she did with Rihanna's publicist, Jonathan Hayes, okay, I don't give a fuck about Trump. I hate these damn ads. Get that orange clown off my screen. I can't stand that motherfucker. He's just so full of ignorance. Okay, so here we go. I had to click to get out the ad and stuff. All right, so let me present this page so y'all can actually see for yourselves the interview. So like I said, this was presented by, Real Life Productions. I recently did subscribe to them because they do have a lot of good content by Jaguar. But again, this is Jaguar Wright speaks to Rihanna's publicist, Jonathan Hayes, about sleeping with Jay-Z rumors. And again, all commentary is alleged. I'm going to be honest. I started looking through some of the photos of Jay-Z and Rhianna. I edited the thumbnail that I used to upload tonight on my phone. And I was like, in every one of their photos, they look extremely intimate. Extremely intimate. And she was very much a minor when she was allowed to be around him, just like Foxy Brown, just like Jaguar Wright, just like Tierra Marie. How is it that all four of these women have stories about being around and introduced to Jay-Z when they were teens, not adults, minors? There's definitely some truth to this.
They had taking her out and taking her to all the parties and clubs. They didn't find out that she was underage until they went to the Rainbow Room one night and she couldn't provide ID. They were told she was 21 when in all actuality, she had just turned 17.
See what I mean? Like, this behavior seems to be normal.
After Upon the Replay broke, that was around the time where...
Oh, wait, hold on. Because, Upon the Replay, I believe that was her first album.
In LA, right after Upon the Replay broke, that was around the time where they were moving you out and putting her new handlers in.
Right.
All right, we're going to skip past their intro.
Definitely. Thank you. I know we try to get you here actually in person. And of course, we ran into a couple of snags.
So again, this is Jonathan Hay. He was Rihanna's first handler. And as we watch the video, I'm an empath, clairvoyant, psychic. I could tell that he definitely feels remorseful. Like a lot of these people who, they were just doing a job, didn't realize how deep and dark situations were until after the fact. And you'll hear him say how he was afraid. A lot of people were afraid to speak out, just like a lot of people were afraid to speak out about Diddy. And the reason I'm covering this is because Diddy, Jay-Z, and I believe it's Harvey Weinstein were business partners, just like R. Kelly. So you got R. Kelly, you got Jay-Z, you got Diddy, and you got Harvey Weinstein, all who have been accused of having inappropriate relationships with minors. And like they say, birds of a feather definitely flock together. I don't believe for 1 second that Jay-Z is innocent. And that's why he's being silent. And then them trying to, get Pierce Morgan to take the interview down and forcing him to apologize and threatening to sue him. And everybody's like, why they ain't threatening to sue Jaguar? Because they know Jaguar got receipts.
Again, want to make sure you're okay, but also we still want to be able to have a conversation with you, man. How are you doing? How are your spirits? Is everything, like you just said, everything's on the okay? Are you
Everything's
good?
good. Everything is good. Thank you.
All right, definitely, man. For those who may not know who you are, and the work you put into this business, if you don't mind, please read.
By the way, the echo is actually on Jonathan's video because I heard it throughout like almost this entire interview last night when I was watching it. So y'all just bear with it because a lot of times people don't realize that when they're recording, like if I were to turn on YouTube on my phone, you would hear an echo. So just bear with it.
Reintroducing yourself, let them know where you're from, and also you're just a little bit going into your history in this business.
Well, I was originally born in Florida. I was adopted, and my parents got me when I was 11 years old. And then I moved to Louisville, Kentucky, home of Muhammad Ali, home of Lamar Jackson, Jack Harlow, Louisville. And then as my career started while I was in college, I moved out to Los Angeles. And then I was just like everywhere, Atlanta, New York, and everything. But I was raised in Louisville, Kentucky.
Okay, definitely. Now, let me ask you this first and foremost. When you hear the words, the music business, what is the first thought that comes to your mind?
Corrupt. Corrupt.
Wow.
I just want to comment on that. I think it's amazing that's the first thing that came to his mind. Again, these are people who have been on the very inside of the dark side of the industry. And I'll let y'all continue to watch it, but just look at it. Just look at the demeanor, the energy. This is somebody who has been afraid for decades to speak out their truth, and now they're finally speaking it. And these are people who live in different parts of the country. Like, he's not even physically at the real life production studio. So it's not like, oh, they sat down and made all this up. I just need y'all to keep that in mind.
To say corrupt, you must be pulling from something. What's the first image that pops in your brain when you say the words corrupt?
Jay-Z.
Ooh, that is the top of the food chain.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Mr. Hay, what I want to do is, of course, for you to even be able to bring up the name Jay-Z, that means, of course, you must have affiliations in the world of what Jay-Z is. Can you at least let our audience know as far as possibly, and again, let's go down the rabbit hole here. What is your affiliations in regards to the world in the music business to Jay-Z, to Sean Carter?
So I go way back with him from the days of, I met Jay-Z through a mill, and the former Rockefeller artist who is on a lot of his earlier hits. So that's how I got in contact with Jay-Z. And through a mill, and this is like a few years after she had left Rockefeller, or left the Rockefeller management, because she was signed to Columbia, I think, But that's how I got introduced to him. Right. And then when I started to work and we would talk on like, his T-Mobile two-way pager. I would hit him, and, he'd hit me back about a mill and, the projects that I was doing at the time. And I would pitch him some stuff, yada, 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 yada. But we had an open relationship. So when Rhianna came out with Pon de Replay, and I was pitching Pon de Replay to journalists, the first journalist that hit us back was this woman from MTV. Her name was Jennifer Vineyard, and she worked for MTV News. She told me, she was like, if you can get, Rhianna was completely unknown. She was like, if you can get a quote from Jay-Z, then we'll run the story. So I was like, I even told her, I was like, yeah, no problem. I talked to this guy about everything. He had been the head of Def Jam. He had been the head of Def Jam for not too long, right? So I figured he would easily give us a quote. And, he completely snowballed. He snowballed me. He wouldn't give us a quote about Rhianna. He wouldn't do anything, for her in the beginning. So then I'd go back to Jennifer Vineyard and be like, I can't get a quote from Jay. Obviously, I didn't say that. I was like, he's just real busy coming into his, position at Def Jam, yada, yada, yada. And, she still ran the story for us anyways, and that's kind of how it all began with her, So when Jay-Z comes to mind, it's just like, like all the games throughout the years, There's just, we'll talk about it as the show goes on, but there's just been like a lot of, bullshit, and being around so many people in the industry who've experienced the same thing. It's just, and honestly, he needs to be in prison, and hopefully, with the stuff that, people like Jaguar Wright is speaking out about, stuff that I'm speaking out about, hopefully that can get some eyes on some kind of, prosecutor, someone who will look into him and, see if justice can be done.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. I like how he said he deserves to be in prison. Again, these are people who worked closely and intimately with Jay-Z. And I'm not gonna lie. I always, in my spirit, felt like he had a bunch of demons on him. And as a seer, you can see energy. You can see people's auras. You can see spirits attached to people. There has never been anything of divine light about Jay-Z. There was some of his songs I used to like back in the 90s, but even as I got closer to like the early 2000s, something about his energy just always felt off. And I never could understand why women even liked him, because personally, Jay-Z ugly to me. I don't understand why women are even attracted to him. He looked like the dude off of the Mario Brothers, the dinosaur character. I've always equated him to the dinosaur character from Super Mario Brothers. And I'm just like, money and power should not enable you to be abusive in any way and then get away with it. You should be held accountable. And a lot of these people that have these high positions, that have all these connections, the spiritual wickedness in high places, they really feel like they're above the law because they serve these lower vibrational deities. But what they don't realize is that just because this earth is ruled by Luciferian energy doesn't mean that God is not going to come against the fuckery that they're doing. And, everybody keeps saying, oh, it's a money grab. It's a money grab. Ain't nobody asking for money. This man ain't asking for money. Jaguar ain't asking for money. I really feel like if it was a money grab, Jaguar would have been sued Jay-Z and Diddy and everybody who abused her and tried to get money. She's just speaking her truth, just like Jonathan Hay is.
And we've seen the same thing happen with R. Kelly, as far as just
exactly.
You get the right person to look in the right direction. Something may stick. So you, as is listed, if someone wants to Google your name, Jonathan Hay, they'll see, you're as an American publicist and record producer. You start off as a publicist or a producer, or
a publicist.
Okay. For those that don't know what a publicist is, because a lot of cats don't know, can you explain what a publicist's job is?
So the publicist's job has changed now a lot, and in 2024 with social media being so, prevalent. And, artists are more in control, the newer artists and stuff. But, publicists used to be the spokesperson, for the artists. They would issue the statements. They would, manage the press, crisis management situations, were key. And like everybody, to contact the artist, they would contact the publicist, and that was like our job. But my job, I wasn't like the guy that like did like the red carpet stuff. I wouldn't, because there's like those publicists too who do the red carpet, who coordinate with the red carpet coordinator, and they do all that kind of stuff. I was more of the strategy behind it. Like that's what I like, is to come up with the strategic, angles and the marketing and publicity behind it. So that was like more my job. That's what I was hired to do, to be that person. So that's what I would consider myself as more of a strategist. Now some PR people, they like to, be all out there, like I said, and do the red carpet stuff. That's not really my thing. I'm more of a, stay in my own lane and just come up with strategy.
So one of your strategies was to say that Jay-Z was dating Rhianna at one moment, at a point in time, right?
So one of the strategies that we all had, because Jay-Z wouldn't give us a quote, And because Jay-Z, and it was weird also because when I came into contact with one of the producers of Pon de Replay, he was like saying that there was a thing, you know, between them. And he was telling me that, you know, like off the record, I don't care about talking about this stuff now because I didn't talk about it for so long, and I got that reputation of, you know, being a guy who would, you know, put out the, you know, publicity stunt that Jay-Z was having an affair with Beyonce, and it was a love triangle, right? But you know, that's why I'm coming out and talking about this stuff, because no, that's not really like, you know, how it was, right? But the week when Jay-Z wouldn't give us a quote, obviously everybody was mad. And so it was like, all right, well, you know, we're gonna get his, you know, attention anyways. Plus, like I said, that, you know, a lot of people were upset because it's like, okay, Jay-Z will mess around with Rihanna, he'll flirt with Rihanna, he'll be inappropriate with Rihanna, but he wouldn't give us a quote to help break the record.
I think that's pretty key right there. He would go out with her, he would flirt with her, he would be inappropriate with her as a minor. Keep in mind, she was definitely not an adult. But he didn't want to give a quote about her in terms of music. And like I said, all the photos that I found tonight, when I was editing the thumbnail, I was like, man, I don't care what nobody says. It definitely looked like they were physically involved, which it's really sad how common grooming is in the industry, period. Whether it's rap, hip hop, gospel, church, whatever. Grooming is something that men who have money tend to think is perfectly okay to do. Hell, even men without money do it, but especially the ones who are wealthy and or celebrities or actors or artists, rappers, whatever. It's sickening. And I feel like until more people like Jonathan Hay, Jaguar Wright, Cassie, until more people continue to speak out against it, unfortunately, it's going to keep happening because, like in this situation, you have all these people working for this powerful man who, just like with Diddy, they see what's going on. They know it ain't right. But if they say something, that's your ass. Like that could literally be your life. And you'll see as this interview continues on how when Jonathan started speaking about anything, how they even came for him.
Record, you know what I mean? So that's why it's kind of like, you know, the strategy behind it was, you know, let's come at Jay, and it was very aggressive, right? It was mean to, you know, take a shot, like, you know, I don't know if I can cuss on here, but fuck Jay-Z, yeah. You know, like Lady, like, cause he was too busy chasing, you know, Lady Sovereign at the time. And, you know, who was a British rapper who was trash, in my opinion. It was like, come on, man, like this, you know, you have Rihanna here, you know, like this is your flagship artist. But like I said, it seemed like at first, like he didn't want us to, be put on and be successful, right? It seemed like which was very strange because of how he interacted with her personally, which was shady. So it was just like, you know what I mean? It was like, all right, fuck this guy, you know. So
can you give us a history of Rihanna as far as her introduction into the music industry? We watch Tyler now being introduced from South Africa, coming into the, you know, a worldwide stage. What was Rihanna's introduction to the music industry? At what point did you get a hold of her to get her to Jay-Z's ears?
So she was already on Jay-Z's ear when I came through, right? I came through this. I hate to even say his name because he's a cocksucker, but he's the other producer. His name is Veda Nobles.
Not a cocksucker.
And Veda Nobles was from New Jersey. And if you look up Veda Nobles, he's a co-producer on Pon de Replay. He was the one who sued Lauryn Hill for the miseducation of Lauryn Hill. And it was his production team, Newark, who sued her, which kind of led to, you know, her shutting down. If you remember back in the music industry, like she was so busy doing the Fugees, and then she dropped Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, which is a timeless classic. And then everybody was like, oh, she's a head case. You know, she started missing shows. Well, she was depressed because, you know, Veda Nobles and his guys sued her, you know, for the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill and saying,
which I ain't gonna lie, bro, that's so fucked up because I literally have the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill album on my phone right now. That was one of the first albums I ever heard by her that made me fall in love with her voice and her energy. And to this day, I also have I Get Out and The Mystery of Iniquity on my phone. It's crazy how this Diddy, Jay-Z, Jaguar Wright situation is exposing so much corruption in the industry because he's right. They just like they tried to call Jaguar crazy, they called Lauryn crazy. I remember that. When this all came out and she stopped doing music for a minute, everybody's like, where's Lauryn? Where's Lauryn? And she was like, you know, I took a break. Lauryn never even got to truly speak her truth, so she put it in her music. Like if y'all have never heard The Mystery of Iniquity, Google the lyrics. Lauryn exposes the industry, the dark side, all the dark rituals that they do, and how, you know, they basically put on a show, but behind closed doors, what they're really doing, how they're selling people's souls. And then on her song, I Get Out, in her lyrics, she said, you just want to use me. You say love, but abuse me. She was like, if I have to die, oh Lord, that's how I choose to live. She's like, if everything has to go, it has to go. They completely blacklisted Lauryn because she did not want to be a part of their bullshit anymore. So I'm actually really glad that he's covering this as a publicist who knows all of these people, you know, who has worked with all these people who have been corrupt for decades. It's mind blowing to me.
They were the producers of it, not her. So when I met Veda Nobles, I was introduced to him through Kevin Skinner, who was working for John Huston Entertainment, you know, Whitney Houston's father's company. You know, when he introduced me to Veda Nobles was like going through it, you know, because everybody loved Lauryn Hill. So then he has, you know, he's the one who introduced me to Rhianna. He's the one who hired me to work Pondy Replay, write her first press release, and, you know, get it going and get some action, you know, for the song. So that's how I got involved with that. And usually, like I said, I hate saying his name because, like I said, he's like he's a real cocksucker. Like,
I ain't gonna lie, bro. Cocksucker cracks me up. Look, I would just say this. I told y'all that my channel's raw and uncensored. You know, that's a word Black people don't use. I ain't gonna lie, I've never heard a Black person say, you're a cocksucker. And when I hear Caucasian people use that word, I know what they mean. Like to them, that's just like when we say motherfucker, you know, they say cocksucker. That shit cracks me up. Cause he's dead ass serious, like, fuck these people. I'm gonna speak my truth.
You know, not only, you know, has he let me fall on the sword on like a lot of the shit, is because, like I said, what he did to Lauryn Hill for Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, the way he treated her by taking production credit, you know, when that was all Lauryn Hill's album. She'd been working on that, you know, since she was younger. That was her debut album, and this guy was trying to take credit for it. So that's how I met.
And unfortunately, a lot of producers in the industry do that. A lot of them do that. You know, they'll get you to sign with them, and then they'll take credit for all of your music and all of your work, which is why even with my music that I'm writing and producing myself, I'm doing it by myself, because ain't nobody finna take credit for the lyrics that I wrote from my experiences, the things that I went through. And Lauryn is one of the most amazing artists. She is literally, I can't even, Jill Scott, Erykah Badu, and Lauryn all have their own queendom. They all have their own queen energy. I can't even say that one's better than the other, but my whole teenage years, those were the three women I listened to. Even though I was raised in church, I was always listening to them on the radio and, you know, recording them with my cassette tape because that's how seasoned I am, because I'm definitely not old. And it was just like, wow, to find out the history, now it makes sense why Lauren was the way she was, why she was so to herself and private and, you know, not really having a lot of people in her business, because she was going through it. She was going through it. Bless her, because she's an amazing artist. She always has been, always will be.
That's all I'm at, Rhianna.
Okay. Made an over. Sheesh. Okay. All right, let me ask you, at what age was Rhianna coming into like Ponder Replay and the course?
She was 16 when I first heard about her.
See, I knew it was between the ages of 14 and 16. So you got a 16-year-old minor with a grown-ass man, just like Diddy had Justin Bieber and Usher at the age of 10 and Bieber at the age of 15. Y'all have to pay attention. These sexual rituals that they do, they specifically pick people of a certain gender and a certain age for the sacrifices that they do. And these kids are targeted, and they just want to be famous and you know, do music. They have no idea what they're walking into. They have no idea what they're being made to be a part of. And then by the time they find out, it's too late. And there was no one to protect them. And on top of that, the parents allowed it.
Okay. Let me ask you this, because we look at stars like Aaliyah, and Aaliyah has ties to Jay-Z in regards to her, you know, coming of age story, and of course, you know, the Rockefeller Nation.
And I told y'all in the last live about Aaliyah dating Jay-Z. Hell, we knew about that shit back in the late 90s. I mean, those rumors were out then about Aaliyah dating Jay-Z and how Jay-Z and Dame Dash got into it over Aaliyah, and then Jay-Z and R. Kelly got into it over Aaliyah because Aaliyah chose R. Kelly over Jay. I talked about that on my last live. Now here's yet another person confirming that. That's why I said Jaguar Wright definitely got vindicated through this interview, and she is going to come on later.
Rhianna, for you yourself, Jonathan, let me ask you, what was your goal for the Ponder Replay, pushing that record, getting Jay-Z to give a quote? What was the goal at the time of you pushing that?
Well, because I heard the song, right? Like, and I knew, you know, like when you're in the industry, you know, like this is something, you know, this song has it, and you could just feel like that, you know, was a hit record. Something about it, you know, was special. And she, you know, she was really shy and she was really, you know, awkward, you know, but she had this huge song, you know, and that's what a lot of people liked about her, is because she wasn't that person who was like, you know, like real in your face, you know, like singing for you. She was the person who would, you know, be sitting in a corner, you know, quiet, you know, off in her own head, thinking about stuff. She real soft spoken, real shy, you know, real, but brilliant, like total brilliant, you know, like, you know, look what she's done now. You know, she's a billionaire.
Is it common for someone like Jay-Z or someone to deal with her at 16 years old? Like, isn't that a little weird?
Hell yeah, that's weird. That's some pedophile shit. I don't care what nobody said. Like I said, my commentary is my opinion. Having been around and raised with what I had no idea was a pedophile. I didn't know my former stepdad was a pedophile until after I left home. Grown-ass men who are attracted to teenage girls are attracted to them for two reasons. One, they're easy to manipulate and control. Two, it's easy to groom them and make them think that the inappropriate relationship you're having with them is love. It is absolutely not only weird, it's absolutely unacceptable. And this shit goes on everywhere, but especially in the industry. Just like the young girls that R. Kelly was having sex with, the one he peed on, you know, the young girls and boys that Puffy allegedly was having inappropriate relationships with. It's like this seems to be a don't ask, don't tell, you know, common behavior in the industry, which is why I would never encourage any young person to pursue being active in the industry without having some sort of protection, because they target them for those specific reasons. They know it's easy to manipulate and control someone who's 12 to, you know, hell, 18 years old, really. They know exactly what they're doing, and they're people that are sick, straight up.
For sure, it's weird, without question. You know, but, you know, from what I heard, you know, he was doing that same stuff with, you know, Foxy Brown. You know, like I said.
Hell, and I said that at the beginning of the video. Like, think about it. Foxy Brown's career, once she basically went against Jay, you didn't hear about her no more. I even remember that because I used to listen to Foxy Brown. I actually even used to listen to Jaguar Wright. That's why I chose one of her songs tonight for the reel I posted of the thumbnail to put the word out I was going live. These are women who I listened to growing up. Lauryn Hill, Foxy Brown, Little Kim, Jaguar Wright, you know, Tierra Marie, Jill Scott, Erica Badu, all these women. And, you know, you're looking up to these women thinking, oh, they have the best life. I remember even as a teenager, because I've been singing since I was in the kids choir. I think I was 9 or 10. But I sang in church because I was raised in church. And I remember looking at these, especially Foxy Brown, and I'm like, man, these are powerful Black women. I want to be like them. I want to grow up and be in the music industry. And I'll never forget, certain pastors was like, yo, for you young people that want to be, you know, in the music industry, you have to understand how evil and dark it was. And as a teenager, I was like, what are they talking about? You know, like, what do they mean? How can it be evil? It looks so glamorous and so luxurious and like the life everybody wants. But that's what they want the teenagers to think. That's the way that they bait them and reel them in. Let's flash this flashy lifestyle, just like that video I showed on my last live of Puffy having Justin Bieber at his house for 48 hours and showing him this brand new car. And he was like, you know, after the 48 hours, you'll have access to the car when you turn 16. And when at 18, you'll have the house. I mean, think about it. You are bribing these kids with things, with cars, money, fame, houses, all shit that you can't take with you when you die, just so that you can sexually abuse them and make them think that the sexual abuse is love. And coming from someone who went through that as a child, being molested and then being raped as an adult, it sickens me to think about these men in power abusing their power to manipulate and control and ultimately destroy the minds and souls and spirits of young people who, one, they're supposed to protect, two, you're supposed to be helping them with their career, not helping yourself to their bodies. It's ridiculous.
I was deep, you know, involved, you know, with some of his business stuff and the stuff that I heard. Obviously, I wasn't there to witness it, but you know, here's a guy that, you know, that is currently, right? He's currently, you know, has 2 albums out with R. Kelly. You know, he currently has all this work with Diddy, and before the pandemic, he was signed to Harvey Weinstein. So like when you...
Did you hear that? Before the pandemic, he was signed to Harvey Weinstein. Like, bruh, shit is crazy.
Think about Jay-Z, signed business partners with Harvey Weinstein, business partners with Diddy, business partners with R. Kelly. Yo, that's some fucked up shit, man. That,
like I said before, birds of a feather flock together. Ain't no way you in business with all these people and you ain't doing the same shit as them. Ain't no fucking way.
That just has to make you like think, is like, how could this one man be business partners with these 3 men? You know, 2 who are in federal prison and 1 who's going to be indicted at any moment. That's weird.
And not only is it weird, it's proof of what I just said about these people thinking that because they pledge a Lucifer and they're a part of these secret societies that they're above the law. Oh, we have protection. You're not bigger than God. I'm going to say that clear as day on my channel. I don't give a fuck who gets mad. Your secret societies and your Luciferian allegiances and all these allegiances and pledges that y'all give to these lower vibrational deities that run this earth, and this earth is nothing more than the fallen angels' planet and home after they were kicked out of heaven. For those of y'all that are involved right now in those societies, please understand God's going to expose you. Please understand you're not bigger than God. Y'all might have gotten, like, these motherfuckers might have got away with this shit for decades, but you see that now in their old age, just like with Bill Cosby. In their old age, they're paying for it. And these are people who, as a teenager, you looked up to. Oh, that's rapper Jigga. That's rapper Puffy. That's R. Kelly singing all the music. R. Kelly had all that baby making music. That's what they called the slow jams in the 90s and early 2000s, that baby making music. And I remember when he came out, I Believe I Can Fly. I bet you could, because you was high off that shit and fucking young girls and stuff. It just, I cannot wait for more of these people to get exposed, men and women, because it's women that have been doing shit too. The females that participate in this, I'm waiting on them to get exposed as well.
At the time of Ponder River, what age was Jay-Z?
I don't know. I think he would have been 12 years older than her.
Y'all hear that? That's disgusting. So she's 16 and your ass damn near 30? The fuck you want with a 16-year-old at 28? There's only one thing you could want, her body, because she's young, she's innocent. Like he said, she was quiet and soft-spoken. So think about the mind of a predator. They prey on the innocent. They prey on those that they feel are weak. They prey on those they feel that they can easily manipulate and control. Just like when I talked about Dwight, Mary, and Jordan, people got mad about that. I said, ain't no way a 63-year-old man has anything in common with an 18-year-old girl and married her. You got the same thing in the industry. 28, having an inappropriate relationship with a minor, which by definition is considered statutory rape if he really did allegedly sleep with her at 16. The same thing my former stepdad got locked up for. It's like you hear about these things and it seems unbelievable until you hear more and more about it and realize how common it is. Just like when I finally came out and spoke my truth. And so many people message me like, oh my God, thank you for speaking your truth, because the same thing happened to me. It broke my heart to find out all the other people in these churches that the same thing happened to. And so you hear about this and I look at these women like Rhianna. She has carried that pain of what she went through for years. And I remember when she first came out, I loved her. Like her first album, I would listen to it, I would sing it. And then when she Good Girl Gone Bad, I was like, oh, they corrupted her. And her main influence was Jay-Z. That's who she was with all the time. So you have to think about how the spiritual aspect plays into sex. Like I've been talking about this, and we all have a past. Lord knows I do. But sex is a spiritual exchange of energy, and it could either be positive or negative. And whenever you are using sex in any way that's inappropriate with someone who is that much younger than you, you're doing it for the purpose to have control. Because at 28, especially, he was a powerful man with money. He could have had any woman his own age, just like with Diddy, just like with R. Kelly, and just like with Harvey Weinstein. They could have had any woman their own age. So why would you go for teenagers? It's just despicable.
I could be wrong. We'd have to look.
All right, let's get to the, and I want to go. We're going to go through more of your history, but
Right.
we're on this topic. I got to get your take, because again, when I ask you about the music business, and you give the words you give, we look at the head honchos, and Puff Daddy, Diddy, P. Diddy, of course, is going through his turmoil right now. And these are all like doors that he wanted to shut years ago. This is a lot of stuff happened some decades ago, years ago, and how much of this do you feel fall under the other heads, whether it's Jay-Z, the Dr. Dre's, the just the other guys who are the heads of the music business? Again, we're talking to you, and you've been hands-on in this business, not only on the hip hop side but the other sides as well. As far as the hip hop section of this, how heavy do you feel like some of these doors have been closed, and how quickly can they open if the right buttons are pushed?
Right, like super fast, like especially back in the day. And it's like, you mentioned Diddy's turmoil. Think about the turmoil that he's caused to so many women and people in general, the turmoil that he's caused to people, right?
Right.
Like it's like alarming, and like I knew back, we used to go to Daddy's house because, we worked with these producers named.
I caught that the first time I watched it. He keeps referring to Jay-Z as daddy. That's something else I realized. A lot of like him and Jay-Z and Diddy had a thing about people calling them daddy. Which, as I told y'all, in my past, I explored the swinging lifestyle and the BDSM lifestyle. Daddy is actually a term for a daddy dom. And a daddy dom is someone who is supposed to be like your protector, your provider. There were like grown ass women I met who had daddy doms that they literally signed their life over to. Like not just the financial, the legal, just everything, all their decisions. So I really hope that Jonathan does more interviews. I would love to talk with him to find out, why did y'all call Jay-Z daddy? Like, where did that come from? What was that about?
Sean C and LV, and they produced most of Jay-Z's American Gangster. Like Sean Puffy Combs, he was an executive producer on American Gangster. And a lot of the producers were these guys, Sean C and LV. And so I used to work with them and Fat Man Scoop and this DJ named Rock Rada. They all worked together. So, when Diddy was doing American Gangster, he recorded that at Daddy's house, right? So we saw, we were around Daddy's house, and, we saw what kind of person, Puff Daddy was, right? And it continued on, like, just like recently, like, up until the pandemic, like I was working.
Okay, so then maybe when he's saying daddy, he's referring to Puffy, since Puff used to call himself Puff Daddy. Regardless, like I said, even with Puff, like the fact that he had Cassie and all these other, and he had men that came out and said that he wanted them to call him daddy. That man has a lot of just unhealed childhood trauma, because like I said, my next live, I'm gonna go over the Orlando Brown and Jaguar Wright interview, but I'm also gonna go into depth about Diddy's relationship with his mom, because I don't care what nobody says. That video I showed you on the last live was creepy as hell. It definitely gave they had sex. I don't care. That's my opinion. It gave moms was smashing the son because the dad did not want her. Because his mentality for everyone to call him daddy, his affinity for children, whether male or female, I mean, not just teenagers, actual children. Like one of the accusers was 9. Can you imagine a grown ass man wanting that's a baby, 9? I mean, I don't understand it. Thank God I don't. But it's just disturbing. It's so disturbing.
With the Notorious B.I.G. estate, and I'm gonna send you the contract, that I did with them, right? So with the Notorious Big Estate, we were doing a song, we were doing a project for Biggie, and the Notorious Big Estate is Valletta Wallace, Faith Evans, CJ and his sister. Those are the people. So I was working, with them, right? And I experienced once again some fucked up shit, and that's in 2020. Like right after we went viral with the project that we were doing with Biggie, you know, it seems like Puffy got involved.
And see, keep in mind, this is right after the pandemic. So, because 2020 is when COVID hit. So you've got these artists, because everything, y'all remember, everything got shut down. Everything got shut down. So everything became virtual and viral. What he's about to say not only is disturbing, but it completely vindicated Jaguar speaking about all the drug use at the Diddy parties. And just like the last live where I showed y'all the drug dealer giving his account, and even the drug dealer said they were on ketamine. So you got the nigga dropping off saying, bro, they were already fucked up on ketamine before he even took and dropped an 8-ball or how many 8-balls they bought from him. Then you got people who participated admitting that they were on ketamine. Now you got the publicists. Like, all these people ain't lying, bruh.
And because, you know, that was this flagship artist was Biggie. Puffy got involved because of publishing and rights. And, you know, it just, you know, the whole project went sideways, and it took on a whole, like, other, you know, dimension, you know? So, like, during the pandemic, you know, he would, it was wild. Like, you know, we would be on FaceTime, kind of like what we're doing now, you know, because everything was shut down, and he was telling us about how we should make the house music, because it was a house music project that we did.
For those of y'all that don't know what house music is really upbeat, kind of trippy ass music. I do like house music depending on who is the artist. And I do like some of the dubstep too. But house music is music that is generally played at raves and certain clubs where, you know, they want the energy to be high and real high energy, real fast pace. That's where honestly a lot of people, you know, be passing pills and fucking with XOs and perks and all that other shit. So just pay attention to what he's saying, because the relevance to house music and the type of drugs that go along with it are all correlate.
That Notorious Big Estate partnered up with us, right? And then he was telling us like how we should do it. And he was like, "You need to do ketamine, man, because ketamine is what everybody's doing for dance music." So we were on FaceTime. This guy sniffing, right? Like, and I was like, "Are you serious?"
Sniffing means he was doing lines of coke, y'all. For those that don't know what he's referring to when he says sniffing, he's saying Diddy was on FaceTime doing coke and telling them to do ketamine. Wow. Wild as fuck.
Serious right now. I was like, wow, like, you know, and he said it was ketamine. It could have been cocaine, it could have been sugar, it could have been, I have no idea what it is, right? I wasn't there, but he was like, you know, it's all about the ketamine. Ketamine is house music. Ketamine is this. And he was like, the music that you do with Biggie, it's got to be attracted to ketamine. You guys should do ketamine.
So I wanted to point that out too, because music, in my research about spirituality, like I told you, I've done spiritual warfare and participated in the exorcisms and cleared energy and all of that. Music carries energy just like water, earth, and fire does, and air, elements. Music, the reason we like music is because of the vibrations that music brings, the energy music brings. That's why some people listen to uplifting music. Some people listen to classical. Some people listen to rock. Some people listen to R&B, hip hop. Some people listen to country. It's because of the vibration that the music brings. So the fact that Diddy told him, make music that is attracted to ketamine. I mean, really think about that. Make music that is attracted to these drugs so that we can keep control, essentially, over the listeners, the viewers, and have them hooked on this music to capitalize off of it. He didn't even care about the fact that you're destroying people's lives by promoting music that makes them want to go out and get ketamine and become addicted to it. And Jaguar has been saying for years that Puffy was a drug addict. So all this shit coming out, I mean, everything in Cassie's court document, it's like, there's no way all these different people are making this shit up about you, bruh. And to be honest, even looking back, because I mean, I worked in restaurants for years, and restaurants don't drug test. So I've worked with people that's been on everything: crack, heroin, pills, powder, everything, alcoholics. I mean, and so I've seen how people are on whatever choice of drug they have chosen. I've seen how they react, and certain drugs give you this super euphoric high. And then when your body starts to go through withdrawals, they become very angry, very aggressive, like we seen when Puffy was beating the fuck out of Cassie in the damn towel, because clearly he was in there butt ass naked. So you have to remember, Lucifer was a fallen angel who was an angel that transformed, who was a dark angel that transferred into an angel of light. Lucifer was also the minister of music when he was in heaven. So it would make sense that these people who have pledged to Lucifer would promote music that destroys people. Music that like there's even certain beats and melodies and bass drops that start to enhance certain energy. That's how come certain music makes you want to shake your ass. Certain music might make you feel horny. It's literally the vibrations within the music, and it gives you a certain energy. Just like some people, when they about to go rob a bank, they might put on some dark ass energy or some rock and roll, something real low vibrational. It's crazy to me for Puffy to have gone so hard during the pandemic, when people are already, got to think about that too. People are already depressed because everything shut down. So, and we all remember how we were quarantined in our homes and you couldn't go nowhere. So all you could do was watch TV or be online or be on the internet, and everything was shut down. So I told y'all before, demons exploit your vulnerability. So you got people who are already feeling emotionally vulnerable. Hey, let's get them on ketamine. I mean, what the fuck? Literally, what the fuck?
You can experience ketamine, so it's authentic. Da, 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 da. He was given like this fucking weird, like, you know, pep talk, you know, to do ketamine. The whole time I'm like, wow, this is Puffy, just like not even, you know.
That's Puffy high off that shit, telling you to make music that's attracted to ketamine, because he was on that shit and much more, especially according to Jaguar and all the other people that was around him. That's crazy.
You know, just like above, you know, like above the law. Like, are you kidding me? Like,
I just said that. I'm so glad he just said that. These motherfuckers really believe they are above the law. They can just do whatever they want because they have people in high places. Again, spiritual wickedness in high places, Ephesians 6:10. You got people in high places that's allowing you to do this shit, that set you up to do this shit, so that they could carry out the work of the Luciferian and lower vibrational deities that they worship and serve and sacrifice to. Come on, man. If y'all can't see the dots connecting by now, I don't even know how else to show you, because the shit is wild.
Like who does this? You know, my girlfriend and my partner, you know, was on there. Other people were on there. And it was just like, is this serious? You know, because he just has no, you know, he gives no fucks. You know, he's
literally, like, I mean, and remember on my last live, I showed y'all the interview, the segment where he was on Conan O'Brien's show. And he so proudly, when Conan asked him how to have a, you know, a dope party or whatever, and he so proudly talked about, you have to have a lot of alcohol, you know, you have to have a lot of water, it has to be hot, and, you know, you might have to lock some women in the rooms. I'm like, bruh, you're on fucking TV essentially snitching on yourself. And he looked like he was high as shit on that. And like I said, there's a difference between, you know, natural like CBD and cannabis. That does not make you go crazy. It does not make you violent. It makes you happy, hungry, and sleepy. When motherfuckers is on more shit than that, pills and powders and injecting shit into themselves, it makes them out their mind. It makes them irrational. It makes them feel like they are God, like they're above the law and, you know, they're untouchable. But every motherfucker untouchable person at the top of the pyramid has to fall, and the pyramid has flipped. Just like the Bible says, the last shall be first, the first shall be last. Again, that's why all these motherfuckers are getting exposed in their old age. You might have got away with it in your younger years, but you're gonna live the rest of your life in prison. Period.
You know, above the law, do whatever. So, anyways, I know I told you to answer your question, and then I went off.
No, that was actually perfect as far as going
on a tangent. You know,
the public situation. But let me just circle back to Rhianna and Jay-Z now. Of course, there was a documentary that came out this summer. Of course, Traplo Ross put that out, and
correct.
They had on academics where, of course, they were going to the death of Jay-Z's mistress, and they brought your name up, and of course, they came back to your article, of course, of you wanting to run. Your goal was to run the rumor that Jay-Z and Rhianna, it was a love triangle between them and Beyonce. And I believe you apologized to Beyonce. Correct.
That was in 2015.
Okay.
And I apologize on Inside Edition. But listen, that wasn't even my idea. Right? That was the title Rock Nation people who were like, you know, we want you to basically, you know, fall in the sword, you know, dead this thing, because the Becoming Beyonce book that those rumors came from, you know, Matthew Knowles, you know, gave a lot of information. He was like a source for the book. You know, the guy who wrote the book, he was like a New York Times bestselling author. I'd done Michael Jackson biographies, Jackie O biographies. So they wanted me to fall on the sword. And in exchange, they were like, you know, we're going to, you know, make your projects Tidal Rising, and we're going to feature you on Tidal, and we're going to get you, you know, the most amount of streams, yada, yada, yada. And back then,
wait, let me address this comment right quick. Comment says, hello, Beyonce says she was 18 when she started talking to Jay-Z on the phone and 19 when they officially started dating. That don't mean shit. I mean, respectfully, that don't mean shit. Motherfuckers say all type of shit when they don't want to get exposed. And we're not talking about Beyonce dating Jay-Z. We talking about Rhianna at 16 allegedly being sexually involved with Jay-Z. So I mean, that don't got shit to do with what we're talking about tonight.
It used to pay more than, you know, Spotify, Apple, or anything else.
Sure.
And so he's like, you know, we're gonna make it, you know, make all these promises that never happened. And so I went on TV, Inside Edition. You know, you can still see it, and I apologize to, you know, Beyonce for this rumor that it was just so corny. Because here's the thing: if you're in a relationship, and you're that high level, right? There's gonna be rumors of infidelity. People are gonna think so and so is cheating, right? But if you're with your man, like the book said that they broke up for 6 months because of my rumor. That's crazy. It's like they didn't break up because of my rumor. You know, they broke up because of, you know, Jay-Z is he's a fucking, you know, asshole, bro. That's not had nothing to do with me. But in the book, that's what it says. Is they broke up because of me. So, of course, like a lot of Beyonce fans were going crazy. You know what I mean? So that's why they wanted me to do the public apology. So I did it.
And that, I'm glad he clarified that, because it's just like with Piers Morgan. Piers Morgan did not apologize for his opinion about Diddy, his opinion about anything. And when Jaguar Wright brought up what she believed about Jay-Z and Beyonce, he clearly said, well, they're not here to defend themselves. So again, the whole Piers Morgan interview and Jay-Z and Beyonce, you know, coming for him, Brad didn't even say shit about y'all. Like literally he said they are not here to defend themselves. So I'm not going to comment on that. But you got these, just like how Jonathan Hayes just said, they made him apologize. They made Pierce Morgan apologize because Jay-Z and Beyonce were threatening to sue the corporation that oversees his channel or his show. And I feel like that's why, like, as much as I love music, music is my first love. When it comes to the politics of music, I could never fall in line with mainstream. I can't do MSM. I can't do mainstream media because I'm too authentic and too real. Ain't no fucking way I'm about to apologize for my opinion. Period. If it's my opinion, it's my opinion. And this is literally supposedly a free country. People should be able to speak their truth without being threatened with their lives being taken or threatened to be sued because they are exposing the fuck shit you did. Like, had you not done the bullshit, there would be nothing to fucking expose in the first place. And I feel like it's real fucked up how they did Jonathan, because he was just doing his job. It ain't like, oh, you know, he was a part of none of the fuckery that these men were doing with these minors. He just was doing his job. And they still made him go back and apologize. And so to keep his job, he did what he had to do.
So, you know, like it's like a sucker. And then they never came through. They said they were going to come through.
I have to ask, for you to start a rumor and for it to stick not only months, but years and decades later.
A decade.
Yeah, a decade.
Yeah, 2 decades.
Yeah, 2 decades. 2 decades later, the rumor still being talked about. Like, what are your thoughts when you, like, I'm going to start this thing and then see if there's smoke, there's fire, because it's just sticking around and people won't let it go. What are your thoughts on that?
So, like, we were all together in Florida, in Orlando, Florida, because that's where Veda Nobles was. That's where Kevin Skinner was for Whitney, the Whitney Houston guy that I told you about. Some other people, you know, that were working, you know, for Veda. So we were all like brainstorming like ideas, right? It wasn't like, you know, I just thought of something and I ran wild with it, you know. It like you said, it's crazy that it came out 10 years later in the book, and it was in this documentary. Now here we are, you know, right now talking about it, right? It won't ever leave, you know, like it sticks, you know. So people like BuzzFeed did a story last year calling it one of the biggest scandals in history, and there's like all this shit that keeps, you know, coming up. And it was like so serious because being a PR person, you know, I've done publicity stunts, you know, like, you know, which is just creative publicity, marketing angles, and, you know, whatnot. And, you know, like, but this one caused like serious shit because after she blew up, you know, we were in Kissimmee, Florida. Me and my partner at the time, he was like my intern, my partner, you know, type thing. Like, we're driving down the road and we were pulled over by unmarked cars in Kissimmee, and they asked us to follow them. So the whole time we're like freaking out. They didn't tell us what it was, and there was like 3 or 4 cars, one behind us, one in front of us, and we pulled behind this like dodgy library in Kissimmee into this like building where, you know, like a makeshift office or whatever. And I was interrogated, and I was like, holy shit! Like, I thought I was gonna go, you know, to jail, but I kept thinking like, all right, I can't go to, like, what have I done wrong? You know, like, it's not that serious, right? It's like a rumor that was like in the National Enquirer and shit like that. You know, it couldn't be that thing, but it wasn't about that at all. They were wanting to know the truth behind it, because they believed that it was true that you know, that he was, you know, seeing her at 16, that he had related, because they brought up Foxy Brown, they brought up Tierra Marie, you know. These are the feds, and I'm freaking.
Y'all hear that? He confirmed what I even said earlier. They brought up Foxy Brown. They brought up Tierra Marie. Have y'all noticed that neither one of those women are successful in the music industry now? Tierra Marie kind of got some success when she was on Love and Hip Hop. And she even talked about having gone through, you know, tests and trials with Jay-Z. And she never like really said exactly what happened, but that certain things had happened to her that made her feel like she couldn't trust men. And then even with Foxy Brown, where the hell is she even at nowadays? Like literally, is she still around? Like I'm like, these are literally females that I remember listening to in my teenage years, and then all of a sudden you just didn't hear from them no more. You just didn't hear any more music from them. You didn't see them on MTV or VH1 or none of the channels. You didn't see them on BET. You didn't see them anywhere. They just were gone. And these are all women who were signed to Jay-Z and who the rumors were alleged even back then that they were physically involved. So it just, like I said, the music has been my first love. Music industry is something I've always paid attention to. And it's like, finally, there's some answers to the questions that I even had in my teenage years. Like, what happened to these women? Like, why aren't they around? Now we know why. Because once you're no longer down for the fuck shit, they're going to blacklist your ass quickly.
Out.
And not only are they going to blacklist you, they're going to try to make you out to be crazy. Now it makes sense why Tierra has that drinking problem. I just thought of that because they kept showcasing that on Love and Hip Hop, how she was an alcoholic. And then when she would break down, she would revert back to trauma, but she never wanted to go into it. Now it makes sense why. Because these people are literally deathly afraid of Jay-Z. They're afraid of the so-called power he has to destroy their lives. And just like how they made Jaguar Wright out to be crazy a few years ago after she lost her son and she started exposing all this shit, that I remember them doing the same thing with Tierra Marie. It was a smear campaign, not only on Love and Hip Hop, but in the media, all on social media, all on YouTube. They was calling her a whore and a slut and an alcoholic. And, you know, all she wants to do is get drunk and she's a terrible artist. And I'm like, bruh, I'm looking at her seeing trauma. I'm feeling, again, I'm an empath, clairvoyant. I'm feeling and seeing the trauma on her and wondering who did this to her. Now it makes sense.
Very sad. You know, and then they started talking about, you know, Lance on Rivera. And they had him under investigation, especially like back in the day, you know, 2003, 4, 5, you know, they used to have like hip hop watch police, you know, that watched, you know, and I'm sure they still do, right? But anyways, it was out there in public that there was like, you know, task force to watch hip hop artists. You know, so here's Jay-Z, you know, a guy that, you know, has these underage girls. I put out the rumors. So basically they, you know, they were wanting me to, you know, basically go on record and say, and I kept telling them, like, I don't know. I was honest even at the time. I was like, I've heard things, but I wasn't there, so I can't tell you. But you know, because of he was under investigation too because of some incident that happened with R. Kelly, some violent incident. You know, like Jay-Z is not, you know, he's not a good guy, man. This is a guy that, you know, he comes, if you look at his past, where he comes from, you know, it's really dodgy, you know. So anyways, they let us go, they left, and you know, that was it. But
I think it's crazy that the feds interrogated them, but yet didn't do anything about it. You know, I feel like if the feds really believed that Jay-Z was involved with Rhianna, why the fuck y'all didn't do an actual investigation beyond just interrogating? I really feel like the interrogation was a setup to see who was gonna snitch. Because it don't make sense. What was the purpose in the interrogation if you weren't gonna move forward with an actual investigation that you could gather evidence and actually prosecute this person? Instead, you just interrogated those that were close to him, more than likely to find out who's going to tell what so that y'all could fuck him up, and still allow this man to continue to be around this girl. And above all, her father. Rhianna's dad ain't shit. I don't give a damn. Your dad ain't shit for letting you as a 16-year-old be in the presence and care of a 28-year-old man. That's a grown-ass man. Just like Bieber's parents that let him go stay with Diddy for 48 hours. Just like Usher's parents that allowed him to go live with Diddy for over a year at 10 years old and even signed over legal custody. What the fuck? Like the parents, I feel like, man, prosecute the parents, bruh. I don't give a damn how old these people are now. Because you gave your child, you literally pimped your fucking child out for fame and for money. And now the children as adults got to deal with the trauma that they had to suffer. And I don't believe that the parents were innocent. I believe y'all knew the shit these motherfuckers was doing and you didn't care. And that's what makes it even worse. It's ridiculous.
But you got to think, if that is 2005 and they were investigating in them, you would think in 2024 that they would have all kinds of stuff, especially with, you know, the Diddy investigation right now.
Exactly. That's what I was just saying. You started an investigation where you interrogated people. What, 2005 was 19 goddamn years ago. So you start an investigation in 2005 and then you just let it go. You just dropped it. So you didn't give a fuck about the kids. They didn't give a fuck about if Rhianna was safe, if she was okay. Because if you actually cared, you would have done something about it. You would not have allowed it to just happen. Shit is ridiculous, man.
Right. Did you have any dealings with Dame Dash?
I didn't. No.
Okay.
I wish.
Right. John, let me ask you, because your career is illustrious, and I want to shortchange you at all. Can you name some of the notables, the other acts that you work with in the hip hop industry? And if you want to go outside of hip hop, you can. But just for those that may need to know, like, who else have you had a hand in regards to their career?
So I worked with Whitney Houston, right? That's because Kevin Skinner, he's the one who brought me on. I did this rock project, and, you know, we hit #1 for, you know, 17 weeks, you know, from Louisville, Kentucky. And then we did everything wrong and lost everything. But people saw my skills as a publicist. So Kevin Skinner brought me on board to work with Whitney Houston. That was a dream job. And then, you know, of course, you know, that goes into, you know, working with Rhianna. And then once that happened, you know, we started doing publicity for Hillary Duff, you know, for Angie Stone, and then Teddy Riley, you know, asked me to work on the Michael Jackson album, you know, the last Michael album, his album, right after he passed, you know, because I worked with Teddy Riley.
That was the This Is It album. I remember that because it actually broke my heart. I really couldn't even listen to that after Michael died because it was sad.
For, you know, 15, 16 years, you know, went back with them. So, you know, so I got a Michael Jackson credit. You know, I got a Whitney Houston credit. You know, I got those type of things, which is really cool. I worked with, you know, RZA. I worked with Drake, you know, which was interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I picked up on that too. Soon as he said, which was interesting. Just like fucking Kendrick Lamar's They Not Like Us, bruh. I'm telling you, these nasty pedos are all getting exposed. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Why do you say that's interesting?
Well, I mean, just because it was weird, you know. So weird.
Okay.
I have a you know, confidentiality agreement, right? But, you know, because I came in and I was involved with his baby mama, Sophie, right? You can Google all this stuff, and that was weird, right? That was you know, crazy shit. But I Drake's representatives contacted me when Pusha T dropped, you know, the diss, and they were they thought that I had given them information, you know, about Sophie and and the child and, you know, all this stuff, blah, 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 blah. And I was, you know, because they were so paranoid.
Yeah, trying to figure out who.
Yeah, Pusha T had all that information. And I was like, I've never even spoke to Pusha T. And they were like, yeah, but your guy is Side of Prince. And Side of Prince, you know, it's, you know, Kanye, you know, it's Kanye West.
Yes.
You know, he's Kanye West artist, but he's one of Kanye West's main writers for a long time. His name is Sidell Young, Side of Prince. And Side of Prince and I go way back. And so they thought that I told Side of Prince, who was signed and who was working with Pusha T at the moment, but it wasn't that. It wasn't that at all, because I didn't even tell Side that. But, you know, Drake's team, you know, blamed me, you know, for, you know, giving that information. I got back to Pusha T, but it had nothing to do with me. So, but that was like a lot of drama and, you know, a lot of threats and a lot of like, you know, weird shit, you know, but like everything was good. There's no issues at all with anything, you know, Drake. Yeah.
You know, those were interesting times in which I'm curious, have you worked with Kanye at all?
No, I haven't. Just with the good music thing, you know.
Okay.
Just do good music with Side.
Okay, definitely. I'm sorry. Yeah, we paused you on Drake because that was you know, that hit a nerve right there. You know, just in the world, you know, Drake is beloved by many, but also, you know, there are situations or underlinings in Drake's career. Any other notables as far as going into you know, post COVID that you work with? Are you still working with some of these people, or are you kind of taking a step back?
So, you know, worked with like Nappy Roots. There's so many, right? You know, because like as a publicist, like you'd be hired, you know, for the albums. Twista, you know, I worked with Big Pun, you know, which was amazing, you know, because I'm a, you know, huge Pun fan, right? But in 2017, you know, I was involved in an incident where I was in a home invasion, right? And I was duct taped and, you know, pistol whooped and held for like 2 hours. 3 people went to prison for that, right? And, you know, they pled guilty. But once that happened and I was duct taped for like 2 hours, I was like, you know, praying to God. I was like, this is the type of energy that I'm promoting with the gangster rap and with the...
I wanted to stop it there because he's absolutely right. As much as I love hip hop, certain rap music is made to promote lower vibrational entities and to promote lower vibrational energy. And I will never say that anyone deserves to be pistol whipped or for their home to be invaded. But what I like about this man is him speaking his truth and him coming full circle, realizing like, damn, exactly what I have aided in promoting happened to me. You know, it takes a lot of courage, strength, and humility to be able to not only see that, but to actually talk about it. And he was very blessed to have survived this situation. But it's true. That's why certain hip hop I can't listen to. If it's too low vibrational, I got to turn that shit off. You know, there's like music, certain music, like I said, the beats, the bass line, it's made to make you want to listen to it. Like there's certain songs that, oh, this has a dope beat. And then I started listening to what they're saying. Like, I can't listen to this bullshit. Hell, even one of the recent Kendrick Lamar songs that I had used in a couple of my reels, I picked it because I liked the beat. But then I started listening and I'm like, this bruh's talking about being on perks and putting his finger down females' throats and talking about I'll make her child. I'm like, what the fuck? I can't listen to this shit because I don't resonate with that. I don't. That's not my lifestyle. And I am really glad that Jonathan's being transparent about what happened to him. I don't take it as a slight against the industry, because I've researched about the vibrations of music. I researched about the origins of music. That's how I found out that Lucifer was the minister of music in heaven. And it just dawned on me when I was in church that the minister of music is a position within the church, within the choir. It's a very coveted position in the Apostolic Pentecostal Church. And when I was in church, I was a lead singer in the choir. I was a section leader. I was even a musician. I played the piano, the organ, the drums, and I sang and wrote music and taught music. And, it's like you have to be very careful with what energy you resonate with when you're listening to music. It's more than just a beat and a melody. It's the energy that is coming through the music that is it's attaching itself to you.
Stuff that I would do. And now this energy has came back to me and I'm duct taped. And I thought for sure that I was going to die. And I was just praying. I was talking to God. I was like, if I survive this, because my 14-year-old daughter was also right next to me, going through the traumatic incident. I was like, God, if I survive this, I'm not going to do any more hip hop. I'm not going to do any more wicked music. So I started to do, jazz music. So I got away.
I love that about his transition. He was like, if I survive this, I'm not going to do any more wicked music. Then you got to think about the men he was a publicist for: Diddy, Drake, Jay-Z, all these different people who have been accused and are being locked up for doing this corruption. And it's people that still are fans of these artists that don't want to believe it. It's people that I be seeing on Instagram that are co-signing, yeah, it's all a money grab. When you understand the spiritual realm, the spirit world, it's very easy to see beyond the veil. It's very easy to see the intention behind the music. Like my music, the intention is to express myself. It's not to destroy other people, but some of the songs I've wrote are about the trauma that I've endured, the trauma that I went through, the stuff that I've experienced. But it's never to hurt another person or, to try to destroy them or to promote any sort of violence or abuse. And this interview for me, I felt like was a lot more, even more interesting than the last one, because you have a person who was definitely on the inside that participated in, unfortunately, the destruction of artists, who now seems to be very remorseful about the involvement and unfortunately experience firsthand the darker side of the industry.
I got away from PR because, I survived the ordeal. The people went to prison. And, when I did this jazz project and I did a complete album, with Eric B. and Rakim, and, Rakim is considered, one of the greatest MCs of all time. And that project hit #1, on the Billboard charts in jazz, and it stayed at the top for 11 weeks. So there's another one, to be able to say, I did something with Eric B. and Rakim, in the jazz world, was amazing. But, I'll get pulled back in and end up doing some PR clients here and there. I'll give, like I said, like strategy and advice, and that kind of thing.
All right. So real quick, again, that April 20th date on 2017 is highly documented with the St. Matthews apartment situation.
Correct.
Man, just briefly, can you walk us through what happened? Was that your doing? Was that someone else you were with, or what was the circumstances for that to, become your situation at that time?
So I was just coming home from my daughter, right? It was really like the 19th and it was going into the 20th. And like I said, she was 14 years old. We went to Taco Bell, we went through the drive-through, just like a regular, night. People listening be like, that's not regular with your 14-year-old kid. Well, you know what? It is. She graduated honor roll. She killed it. She went to college. So something was done right, you know? But anyways, we were coming home, coming back to my place, and we were hit from behind, pistol whooped, duct taped. It was a very traumatic, situation, right?
Yeah.
Like super traumatic. Like it changed everything in my life, you know?
Definitely, man. And definitely, prayers out to that situation. Jonathan, I have to ask, there was reports that you and Adele were were
Now this is cool, but this has nothing to do with the subject, so we're gonna skip past him talking about Adele. Because this is what I wanted to get to when he started to talk to Jaguar.
Out. So that's why it's really surreal, to like be here, like speaking to you guys, because this is kind of wow, like she's really like out here, spitting facts. It made me feel comfortable.
Oh, wait, hold on. I do want to go back
things
to
that, of course, not only she experienced, but those who have.
It was whack, like on my end, like I was fucking whack, because I was like freaked out,
You shrink
because I was such a fan.
Yeah, you shrink in the room because of
literally, bro. I was shrinking in the room, like I couldn't. It was whack, bro. I couldn't get anything working, bro.
Man. Oh, that's the hey moments.
Yeah.
So let me get your take on Jaguar Wright has been on this blue couch that right now, of course, you're virtually on, and she has, of course, started a crusade. I want to say,
for sure.
All the things that, of course, not only she experienced, but those who have experienced have spoke to her about. And we are in the world of now getting to the truth of before social media, things that really went on behind these closed doors. And of course, we have Jaguar right in the building. And just give me your take as far as from your knowledge of what Jaguar Wright is saying, some of the things that she is getting out to the world. Just what are your thoughts on that in general, as far as some of the things that she's leaning out?
I'm going to be honest. It's because of Jaguar Wright where I felt the confidence, to come out. Like once it came out on academics and Trapler Ross, because I haven't been able to speak out of these things because I've just honestly been scared, right? And so I had seen, a lot of things with her, and people would.
I like how he gave credit to Jaguar, and he was vulnerable in this moment when he said, I haven't spoke out on these things because I've been scared. This is a grown-ass man. This is not a child. It's not a teenager. This is a full adult with children who has also carried trauma for years. Could you imagine, for those of you that have children that are living, can you imagine you're driving home from Taco Bell and somebody hits you from behind and then duct tapes you and your child, pistol whips you, just completely shits on you and threatens your life, all because you don't want to play the game anymore. Like, his humility, I really, really admire. And I cannot wait for y'all to see how the conversation's about to go between him and Jag.
It's like, always forward stuff over, with her. And I was so like mesmerized by like her strength. I was like, wow, like she's really like out here, spitting facts. It made me feel comfortable to like contact like.
Exactly. People that have called Jaguar Wright a psychopath and crazy, that woman lost her son. And I've had 5 miscarriages. I have not had the chance yet to give birth to a child and have my child living, but I imagine my nieces and nephews who I feel are like my children. I couldn't imagine a worse pain other than losing a parent, which I have. I lost my dad. For her to have gone through such a traumatic experience of losing her son and essentially losing her mind for a bit. And then for her to now be strong enough to even talk about all this trauma, to talk about her son, I genuinely commend Jaguar. I don't care who doesn't like her. I don't care who calls her a liar, who calls her a conspiracy theorist. As an empath and a clairvoyant, I feel her pain. I feel her, even through her strength, how hard it is for her to be strong, how difficult and painful it is for her to speak her truth, knowing people are going to come for her, knowing people are going to discredit her, knowing people are going to be dismissive and talk shit. It takes so much strength to keep moving forward when you know people are talking shit about you, especially when it's people that's supposed to love and care about you. So again, I commend Jaguar and I commend Jonathan for having the courage to come forward and speak their truth, and essentially to validate the other victims who have all spoken out that everybody is saying, oh, it's just a money grab. The worst thing you can do is try to invalidate another person's experience, especially when you were not there. Like, and I've had people do that to me when I came out about me being raped and me being molested. That is literally the worst thing you can do. So my heart goes out to Jaguar genuinely, because I remember seeing that video when she lost it after losing her son, and it made me cry. I'm not gonna lie, because I could feel all of what she was feeling. I was like, Lord God, this woman is suffering so much just for speaking her truth. And that's why I love to see how everything's coming full circle now, where she has that opportunity to speak her truth on national platforms and to try to help other people because of her losing her son.
All hip hop, an interview with them, you know, about the story, to come out and call Jay-Z a dirtbag and, you know, talk about things like, this is a guy that's been partners with Harvey Weinstein, Diddy, and, R. Kelly, Diddy, and Weinstein. This is a guy, that has got a history, but I would never speak out because I always wanted to. But once I saw her stuff, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna, it made me feel comfortable to
see, and I'm telling y'all, that's why it is so important for people to speak out, because you don't know who else you're helping simply by speaking your own truth. It's not about being afraid of what people are going to think. I honestly, when I started speaking my truth, I didn't give a fuck what people thought. I didn't expect so many people to turn on me. I'll be honest about that. But I still didn't let it stop me, because again, you don't know who you are helping to heal when you start speaking your truth about what you've been through and how you overcame it. Like, speaking your truth is essentially the first step to healing. It's something I learned in therapy and when I was working with my life coach, because you can't heal what you're hiding. You can't. There's literally no way to heal what you're hiding. And if you continue to suppress it and bury it, all you are doing is prolonging your own torture, and you're attaching yourself to that trauma, and you're essentially allowing that trauma to have control over you. Just like he said, he's been wanting to speak out, but he was afraid of what could happen to him. And I don't blame him, especially after these people hit the back of your car, which, I mean, hell, I've been in accidents. Every accident I've been in, it was somebody else hitting me. You know how painful that is? They could have died just from that, let alone being pistol whipped and duct taped and held against your will in your own home. It's amazing that this man survived it. It's amazing what Jaguar survived. And I encourage, if there's anybody listening to this live who you have been sex trafficked, you've been raped, you've been hurt or abused, please, please, please speak your truth. And please seek counsel. There's nothing wrong with going to therapy. There's nothing wrong with working with a life coach. There's nothing wrong with joining support groups. That was the best thing I could have ever did. So please, if anyone's listening right now, and I feel that there's at least 14 people listening right now who have been abused, because again, I'm an empath, clairvoyant, psychic. Number one, it wasn't your fault. Stop blaming yourself. Stop beating yourself up. Thank God that you survived it, and go get help. Please, for your sake, if you have children, for your children's sake, heal that shit. Because if not, it will destroy you.
To speak out. So that's why it's really surreal, you know, to like be here, like speaking to you guys, you know, because, you know, this is kind of where, even though I'm not there on the blue couch, but got me like the strength to come out and say these things, you know, from you guys.
Okay, for a moment, if you don't mind, we have Jaguar right here. We're going to bring her up on camera, so you're going to see her. And you should be able to hear her, but we want to moderate just a quick conversation before we speak to her directly. So we're going to bring her up. We're going to make sure we can hear her and then go from there.
Let's do it like this. Can you do you have her on screen?
Yes, sir.
Hello,
but the sound isn't as good.
I ain't gonna lie. I love how Jaguar is sitting there in her queen energy, looking like a whole melanin queen. I absolutely love it. And I see so many angels of light around her. So that I'm happy to see that, you know, she really is healing through all of this.
Good.
Yeah, take the table by. Okay, there we go.
Hello, Mr. Hay. Can you hear me now?
I gotta adjust.
No, I can't hear you too well, barely. But
no?
Hello, it's definitely.
Okay, I gotta step in and say this as a person who has produced on a, you know, national level. As a person who has done actual broadcast production, the first thing you always want to do before you present on a platform like this is make sure your audio's working. I'm just gonna look real life. If y'all happen to see my live, hire me. Okay. I am a multimedia producer. I'm a senior editor. I'm also a digital marketer. Before you get on this platform, y'all should have tested her mic and her audio. I'm just saying. I can't help it. I had to say that.
An honor.
Well, wait a second. Let's get you.
Now I can hear you.
You can hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm looking, it's the location of her mic. Yeah, because y'all got her microphone over here. So if she moves, anyway, I'm just saying. Look, I can't help it. It's the producer in me. Y'all got to get that shit together.
Fabulous. How are you?
I'm doing good.
Well, I won't say I'm disappointed that you couldn't make it in person. Truth is, this isn't an easy conversation, is it?
No.
And after hearing what you just said, it's making me think about the conversation we had initially over a week ago now.
Yeah.
And I took something away at the end of that call. You had no fucking idea that everything that you've been thinking wasn't real actually is.
Right.
And that's how it works.
Right, for sure.
You into believing it's only happening to you. They can
correct
you into believing that all of these terrible things that happen in your life are only happening to you. And it's funny listening to you talk about your being held unlawfully and the duct tape and all of that. I've been there on several occasions in my life. And I've been there for other people.
Yeah.
I have one question to ask that most people probably wouldn't. What project were you working on? right before that vicious, hostile reclamation of your time and freedom?
Drake.
Y'all hear that shit? That's the main reason why I also wanted to play this video. Now, he just talked about, not too long ago, about how working with Drake was interesting, and he had a confidentiality agreement in terms of how much he could speak about what he experienced being Drake's publicist and working with Drake's baby mom, Sophie. Here's the thing. When a criminal act occurs, any NDA or confidentiality is null and void. You can speak about what happened once a criminal act has been performed and those people have been convicted. And you heard him say earlier that the people that did the home invasion are all locked up. So that's the only reason he can even talk about it. But when I look at this man's face, I still see fear. And it's really sad that people in the industry are conditioned to have that much fear of another person just because that person has money and power and has spiritual wickedness in high places, has, people in certain places looking out for them, covering the fuck shit that they're doing. But yeah, this is my opinion. And again, all my commentary is alleged. I feel it was definitely Drake's people that did the home invasion. I mean, it makes sense. And see, I'm a Scorpio female. Scorpio males are much worse than us when it comes to how vindictive and vengeful they can be, because I dated a Scorpio in my younger years. In fact, the first baby that I lost was by a Scorpio. And they can be real crazy and volatile when you don't do what they want you to do. And Drake has had a reputation of being that way with women. There's been so many rumors from women that have dated him where they said he would flip out and threaten to kill them or whatever. So again, this is my opinion. It's alleged, but I feel like it definitely had to be Drake's people that did the home invasion on this man and his 14-year-old daughter, which is absolutely despicable.
You're working on a Drake project.
I was with, that's when the home invasion happened. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
I was working with Sophie, Drake's baby mama, who reached out to me. And then she had me communicate with Drake. And then once I started communicating with Drake,
they made you the go-between for their personal problems. What?
And that makes so much sense as to why the home invasion happened.
What is it that she told you that Drake didn't want nobody to know?
I ain't gonna lie, Jaguar cracks me up. She's so theatrical. It makes me laugh because I know she's being serious as hell. But the way she looked directly in the camera, that he didn't want anybody to know. Because, I mean, I remember hearing these rumors back then that Drake was down low. Just like people been saying that about Diddy since the 90s. A lot of people been saying Drake was down low, or he was, secretly bisexual and he didn't want people to know, and that he has an affinity for transgenders, which there's nothing wrong with that. Hey, whatever floats your boat. But keep it a stack. Because men that are down low, you destroy women that really believe that you're straight. Now, if you a female that's cool with that, hey, that's what's up. But yeah, I remember hearing those rumors in like the 2010s and the late 2000s that Drake was from the suburbs and that he supposedly allegedly liked men more than women. And babies' moms be knowing how niggas are. I'm just, hey, it's the truth.
Triple X.
And you see how he didn't respond he just kind of grunted like, ooh, I can't even say shit. You know, again, I believe the confidentiality agreement was that he could not speak on Drake's relationship with his baby's mom. That's what I'm feeling right now.
That's when the home invasion happened. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
I was working with Sophie, Drake's baby mama, who reached out to me. And then she had me communicate with Drake. And then once I started communicating with Drake,
they made you the go-between for their personal problems. What is it that she told you that Drake did?
Hold up. King Combs, y'all, my pops is innocent. Don't believe the money hungry place. I don't genuinely believe that this is actually Diddy's son. You know, there's been so many trolls jumping in my life. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to the trolls. Shout out to y'all. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Just D Show. Yeah. Because, you know, y'all are my fans too. Y'all be trolling and jumping in the comments. Thank you for that. But this is my opinion. Fuck Diddy. Period. Fuck that motherfucker. He's disgusting.
Didn't want nobody to know. You know, Triple X Stacion kind of had the same problems too with Drake. Matter of fact, anybody that finds out anything about Drake that he doesn't want anybody to know, bad things tend to happen to them shortly after.
Look how nervous he is. He can't even sit still. Lord bless this man. All jokes aside, I send healing to Jonathan Hay right now. Oh my God. See, this is a part of my gifts that I hate. I wish I could turn it off and didn't feel people's energy and see shit that I be seeing. Being a seer and empath and clarity, having all these gifts is not always, it's a blessing and a curse. Because not only can I see his fear and his trauma, I can feel it. He's so nervous right now because of what he went through with the home invasion. He's literally still scared. And that is so sad to see a grown-ass man this afraid. What I do love to see is Jaguar's power. Matter of fact, let me full screen this. I love to see Jaguar's power and how she don't give a fuck no more. Because Jaguar has too much footage and receipts. And I really believe that's why none of them are coming for her. They're going to try to do the smear campaign, but you notice no lawsuit been filed against her for defamation. So that in and of itself says everything.
Yeah, Kevin Samuels too.
Right. Listen, when I was duct taped,
realize how blessed and covered you are.
For sure. When I was, yes, ma'am. I don't mean to cut you off. When I was duct taped, I was thinking about that, and I also started working with Boosie Badass and his label.
Another federal informant.
And I was like, I kept thinking about that. I just wanted to be strong, you know, because I thought for sure I was going to die, that my daughter wouldn't see me, you know, beg or, you know, fight for my life or anything. So, but I was thinking about that.
That it happened in front of your child is particularly nasty.
Correct.
Because they wanted you to feel helpless in front of your child, and they wanted your child to see you as helpless. And they wanted to make sure that whatever it was you were doing, you were going to make a course correction.
Now that she's absolutely right. Because if think about it, every girl looks up to her father as a hero and her protector. And so to see your father, who you feel is your protector and your hero, be pistol whipped and duct taped, and for him to be helpless and for them to do it to her, She's afraid for her father. She's afraid for her life. She's terrified. She's probably even more traumatized than he is because she was only 14 when this happened. And it, like she said, it's like Jaguar said, it's to make sure that you make a course correction. Like, if you say shit else, we're going to kill you and your daughter, because they don't care. These wicked men that are in this industry that do this shit, they don't give a fuck if you live or die. They don't care, because they'll sacrifice their own kids and relatives for fame. I talked about that on my last live, about the initiations and what's required for you to make it when you choose to go the dark route, because you can make it without selling your soul. You can make it without giving up ass. You can make it without turning on people for profitable gain. And Jaguar is exactly right. She said it was particularly nasty. It's the psychological aspect. It's not just the physical part of the abuse. It's the mental abuse. That's why he can't sit still even talking about it. He's so traumatized. And this shit happened over a decade ago. That's extremely sad.
See?
Correct.
That's how it works. And God kept you.
Sure did.
For sure.
He kept you. And he kept your daughter. Because there's some of us.
I heard her voice breaking the second time she said he kept you because she's feeling the pain about her son.
Whose children don't make it.
This motherfucker just walk in front of the camera. Real Life Productions, will y'all please hire me to help y'all edit? Because what the hell? Y'all platform is way bigger than mine. And ain't no way if I was on camera, I would allow anybody to walk in front of the damn camera. I'm just saying. Come on now.
For sure.
He kept you. And he kept your daughter. Because there's some of us whose children don't make it. There's some of us whose children are taken.
Right.
To make sure we make the course correction that they.
And that's what I was talking about earlier in the live. For those who haven't, you can look up the video. Just look up on YouTube, Jaguar Wright throws her son ashes on the men that had her arrested. And that is a ritual in and of itself. Again, the thing about energy and spirituality is that there are things you can do that are of divine light, and then there's things you can do that are of darkness. There's energies that, believe it or not, protect us that are both of light and dark, especially when you're a high vibrational, you're chosen. Even demons will move on your behalf against those that come against you. For this woman to have lost her son, I believe that was her only child. For her son to have been taken from her, because she talked about it, they threatened to kill her son and then killed him because they wanted her to shut the fuck up. She's been talking about Jay-Z and Diddy for well over a decade. And they decided to come for her at her most vulnerable moment. Again, like I told y'all before, demons exploit your vulnerabilities. They decided to come for her right after her son died. Just like they came for Jonathan while his daughter was with him. These men are diabolical. And they are being fueled. Again, Ephesians 6:10, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers. Principalities and powers are certain levels of deities in hell. Against rulers of darkness, the men on this earth, spiritual wickedness in high places. So it's the spirits, the entities within these people that are making them do these diabolical acts, and they don't care. They don't care about your life. They don't care about your wife, your husband, your kids, your mama, your daddy. They'll take you and everybody out that's close to you, like she said, to make sure you make a course correction. And every one of those people that have done this, not only to Jaguar, not only to Jonathan, not only to these artists, they are going to pay. They're not going to get away with it.
they want. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah.
I do.
I want to say to you, I was wrong to call you a liar.
Right.
Because I can't hold you accountable for being afraid to tell a truth that could claim your life.
Correct. I appreciate that. Especially what I've been through, you know?
I hope you know if you ever need to talk, I'm around. Industry PTSD is the hardest because nobody wants to believe that it happened.
Exactly. I'm so glad she said that. You know, industry PTSD is a real thing. And when you have gone through a deeply traumatic experience, whether it's physical abuse, sexual abuse, mental abuse, PTSD is the result because your mind cannot sustain what has happened to you. And even me, I deal with PTSD from me being abused and you know, being raped and all of that. I completely understand it. And a lot of people don't understand the symptoms of that. You know, when you get that fight or flight, like with him, this is definitely PTSD, him not being able to sit still, because just talking about this, having to replay and relive the very traumatic experience, it brings those same emotions and feelings back up. And like she said, industry PTSD is something that they try to write off because they don't want anyone to believe that the fuck shit that they do behind closed doors is real. They don't even want you to believe that the trauma you experience is real. They want you to just suppress it and write it off and act like it didn't happen, because that's their way of being able to continue to do the abuse if they can make you think you're crazy. And think about it. Everyone who comes forward about abuse, they're always labeled as crazy or they're dismissed or you're a conspiracy theorist, because since this person didn't experience what you experienced, oh, you have to be lying. Again, I'm an empath, I'm a clairvoyant and psychic medium. I feel, see, and hear energy and spirits. I can tell when someone's full of shit and when they're bullshitting, and I can tell when they're being real. Neither one of these people on this video are lying. In Jaguar's strength to be able to mentor him through his trauma after what she's been through, y'all can say what y'all want. That woman is strong as fuck. Because I don't think I could be strong enough after everything she's been through to, one, still speak my truth, and two, to be able to encourage somebody else. But that's how you know that person has to have some sort of connection with the Most High to have the strength to even be able to endure what they've been through and still help other people.
Because it's supposed to be the greatest thing in the world. It's supposed to be the greatest time in the world. You're working with the most important people in the world. How dare you complain for something that everyone wants because you're too afraid to tell them, hey, this shit is fucked up, or you're afraid that you might end up being a witness in a case you don't want to be involved.
Exactly. Like I was saying before at the beginning of the live, you know, they convince these teenagers and these young men and women that this is the life for you. You know, you get to work with all these famous people. You get to be in rooms and in environments with people that you never thought you would, but behind closed doors, you have no idea what energy you're tapping into. And the reason is because you don't actually know these people. You know the image that they project. You don't know a person until you've spent consistent time with that person. And even then, you still don't really know them. It takes at least a year or more to really get to know a person. So to me, Jaguar has the most, how do I want to say? She, to me, is the most authentic person because of the circle she was in and because of the truth she spoke. On Pierce Morgan interview, she publicly admitted that she was a sex worker. She was a dominatrix. That was her role at the Diddy parties. Women who I know personally who perform in that area, they never publicly admit it because they don't want to be judged. They don't want people to judge them for how they make their money. Authenticity is everything. And I really feel that Jaguar, honestly, for most of the women in the industry, she's been the most outspoken and the most authentic. And unfortunately, when you're outspoken, and I know this from experience, there are going to be people that love you and there's going to be people that hate you. And the only people that hate you are the ones that are used to living a lie. And they're used to you participating in the lie. So because you no longer want to participate in the lie, the first thing they do is make you out to be crazy. They dismiss what you're saying. They discredit what you're saying. And they act like you're full of shit when it's actually them that are full of shit.
Correct.
And all for going to work.
Literally.
You know?
Right. Right.
So I want to end it like this. And Jonathan, we'll let you go, but I want to get both you and Jag's take on the music industry in 2030. What do you feel it looks like with social media, with AI, just with the openness as far as even what you guys being able to speak on the, I don't want to call them the horrors, but the situations that happened in the 90s, in the early 2000s that led into
that are still happening now. See, what makes me so dangerous is the fact that I've been in this business since I was 13 years old. That's over 3 decades where I am a first witnessed account of abuses, systematic abuses. What made me speak out after 20 some odd years is that I were watching the same things that happened when I was a kid happen over again to newer, younger artists.
Exactly. And even that's where I completely resonated with her. When people ask me, why did I start speaking out about what happened to me a few years back? I said, because I talked with the next generation and found out it happened to them. Even in my own family. And I hate that I couldn't protect them. If I would have known, Lord knows I would have did everything I could to protect them, even if it meant my own relatives getting locked up. See, when you're a person who has suffered the same abuse, you know firsthand how it feels. You know firsthand how it feels, the shame, the guilt, you know, everything it makes you feel about yourself and feeling like, why didn't someone protect me? You know, why didn't the parent? You go through all of that. And so that's why I said this woman's strength to have endured it herself and lost her son and still not being afraid to speak her truth because she has had the next generation come to her and say, hey, XYZ happened to me. Just like the people that, you know, reached out to me after I first went public about me being raped when I was a member at Christ Apostolic and it happening by my ex-fiance, and we both were members. And the pastor telling me to hide it, to be silent about it. Don't go to the police. I'll try to counsel with you guys. When I started speaking my truth, I was horrified at the amount of people who the same thing happened to them. And they were also told to be silent. And even the women who said that the pastor himself had raped them, they said, that's why he told you to be silent. You have to understand how wrong that is. And that happened at a church, y'all. A church. An organization that's just as political as this industry. All the industry is corrupt. It doesn't matter if it's gospel, if it's R&B, if it's hip hop, if it's country. It is corrupt because of the men that run it, who are participating in this satanic ritual abuse, which I've been speaking out against for years, that everybody called me conspiracy theorist. Now we're hearing about it from celebrities. Ritualistic sexual abuse. So that they can gain power and wealth from the demons that they worship, that they sacrifice people to. This shit is fucking real. I don't give a good goddamn who tries to deny it. The shit is real. And it must stop. It has to stop because these are innocent children and young women and men who don't deserve this. Jaguar Wright didn't deserve it. Her son didn't deserve it. Jonathan Hay and his daughter didn't deserve it. Rhianna didn't deserve. These people didn't deserve that. All they wanted to be was successful, not be a part of some disgusting fucking cult that gets off on, you know, worshiping lower vibrational deities by sacrificing people through ritualistic abuse. It's ridiculous.
Artists. That's why they try to make people from my generation irrelevant. They want to box you out of the game. They don't want us computer literate. They don't want us relevant because we get to warn the future.
Exactly. Now it makes so much sense to me why there was such a campaign against Jaguar over these last like five to 6 years. Because they knew she was on a crusade, not only to expose him, but to try to rescue the very victims that they were still after. When you look at Justin Bieber now, when I look at him, I only see trauma on his face. I don't see a person who's happy. And that goes to prove that money and fame will not make you happy. If you are carrying trauma in your chakras, in your spirit, in your energy, and you don't heal that shit, it will absolutely consume you.
And Jonathan, that's why I said to you, I don't even think you realize how much you were covered because most of the jobs you did were probably covering crimes that you didn't know you were covering. Get the story about the baby mama. Spin this story out. Make sure that they're focusing on this so they're not focusing on the home invasion that happened.
Exactly. And even at the beginning of the interview, when the first guy asked him about his experience, he didn't want to speak about it then. He got nervous. Well, I have a confidentiality agreement. So you see the mental conditioning. You see how they condition these people. Like she said, spin this story instead. Don't put focus on the negative things that happen. You know how many artists are walking around with these very same stories that they've been carrying around. And when it comes to the camera, smile for the camera. Act like everything's okay. Don't talk about what happened to you. Don't go public. When I look at the pictures of Rhianna and Jay-Z, I see a young girl who clearly was taken advantage of, but was so conditioned to play her role, and she played it. And yes, she's a billionaire now, but guess what? She has to carry that trauma the rest of her life. While Jay-Z gets to just be free to continue to do the fuck shit he's been allegedly doing. And not only that, capitalizing off of it. I can't. I'm like, this shit is so fucked up. It don't make no sense.
Happened for the guy who was at the party too long and stayed long enough to see this assault. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's the spin game, kid.
Right.
And if they're spinning it, it's a distraction. And it's because they don't want someone looking in another direction.
Right.
I'm wearing Fenty.
Mm-hmm.
I'm wearing Fenty tonight for your girl.
Looks great.
You want to know what's crazy?
Mm.
Tasha K sat online last week and did the worst makeup tutorial I've ever seen in my life. Pandering to people about.
He don't care about Tasha K. I just noticed another comment. Just Isha from Hunt. Hey, Alabama in the house. Shout out to you. Thank you. Thank you to everybody. A lot of people are watching. Hey, shout out to y'all. I've been so busy doing the sharing the screen. I didn't even see the comments and the viewers. Thank you to everybody who's tuning in tonight. I really appreciate the views. For those who have not, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I will be posting a celebratory video once I edit it, because y'all, I hit over 5,000 subscribers just today. So again, thank you. Shout out to y'all. What's up, Huntsville, Alabama? I was in Alabama a few years ago when I was out in what was it called? Mobile, when I was living out there. So shout out to Alabama in the house. That's what's up. Okay, back to the video.
how she was giving up Mac to wear Fenty. What do you think about that?
Oh, now I get why she brought that up. She was saying Tasha K was pandering to Rihanna because Tasha K basically trying to get on, you know, trying to get more clout by promoting Rihanna's Fenty brand. See, that's the thing when you're not authentic. Anybody I promote on my channel and on my social media, I promote them because I genuinely believe in them, because those people inspire me. I don't need them for clout. My channel has grown without the endorsement of any celebrity. So, and there's tons of people that I promote all the time because they're either my favorite artists, favorite rappers, or favorite comedians. I'm not pandering for them to put me on because my authenticity is what grows my channel. And Tasha K been a hot mess for years. She really needs to go to therapy. She really does.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't
Thursday.
I don't really know, honestly, anything.
She did it on her backup
You don't know
channel.
shit about Tasha K.
Yeah.
She was busy pandering.
Yeah.
For people.
I'm pretty sure Jonathan Hay don't even know who the fuck Tasha K is. Don't nobody give a shit about TK Opioid. That was my nickname for her. I call her TK Opioid because she be on the shit and with the shits and flipping the fuck out. But it's just funny because, you know, as women, we could talk about stuff like this and have a laugh and have a kiki. A man is like, okay, she did a makeup tutorial. Who the fuck is Tasha K? And why do I care? That's the energy I'm picking up from Jonathan, which had me dying laughing.
They wanted me to come on their show, but I didn't.
Oh. What made you change your mind?
Okay, I stand corrected. He did know who Tasha K was, but he's not watching her makeup tutorial videos, Jag. I'm just saying, he's not a female. He's not watching her videos because don't nobody give a fuck about her for real.
I got some inside information.
Did you see what happened with Brother Belial? That was such a tragedy.
Mm-mm.
You know Belial, Brother Belial.
Mm-hmm.
For those of y'all that don't know, Brother Belial was a guy that had a really huge YouTube platform. And, you know, he would be covering stories about celebrities and all the salacious things that other men were doing with underage women, only to have been investigated and accused by several teenage girls for alleged rape and molestation. And Brother Belial was in with certain people that unfortunately protected and covered for what he was doing. I remember seeing the court cases about it. And he there was one video where he broke down crying and basically low-key confessed about it. And it was like some audio where he was admitting to how much he loved being with teenage girls because of their tight bodies and how he could put them in positions. And there was evidence presented from a hotel room, like video footage and actual physical DNA evidence that he had allegedly raped and molested this girl that was 14. And that breaks my heart because I've got nieces that age. And I think if any such thing happened to them in that manner, and I don't speak that over their lives, but if it were to happen, the person that did it would be 25 feet deep, fuck 6 feet deep, your ass going all the way in the earth by any means necessary. It's going to be, you're going to get your karma one way or the other, whether it's you get locked up and they handle you there, or natural causes. I can't for the life of me understand the psychology behind these grown ass men with these affinities for preteen and teenagers, other than the fact that they had to have been, sexually abused as a child, but chose not to heal. I don't feel sorry for any of them. I don't.
Well, they did that big expose where they kept out all the real fucked up shit and only told a bunch of salacious stuff about gay men being gay men.
Exactly. Like they basically covered they did not want to promote the stories about the lawsuits and the court cases against Brother Bilal regarding the young women that he had been accused of molesting and raping. Instead, they chose to focus on his alleged down low activities. Like she said, they talked about gay men being gay, but they did not cover the children that he had been accused of molesting and raping. So again, the children have no protection. Where is their justice for what happened to them that they didn't ask for and that they did not deserve?
And they didn't talk about the kids at all. Just like I know, Jonathan, children are the biggest victims in this game.
Definitely.
Child stars are the biggest victims in this game because usually everybody's working against them.
Yeah.
Kind of like Aaliyah. Wait till people find out who was working against her that was supposed to love her and protect her.
Yeah.
You said something very important, though, tonight, and I heard you reference it on more than one occasion. Birds of a feather flock together.
Sure as shit do.
Correct.
If Jay-Z is friends with R. Kelly and does business with R. Kelly and parties with R. Kelly, if Jay-Z is friends with Diddy and does business with Diddy and parties with Diddy, if Jay-Z shot 3 videos on Epstein Island with supermodels that were under the age of 18 that were provided by Naomi Campbell.
Did y'all hear that shit? Jay-Z shot 3 videos on Epstein Island with supermodels that were under the age of 18 that were provided by Naomi Campbell. See, now everything makes sense, even with Naomi Campbell. It's like all the pieces of the puzzle that were missing have finally fallen into place. Because again, I'm a researcher. I've been that way since I was a kid. I was researching the Illuminati and the true Bible, the foundation of religion, when I was all of 11 years old. That was when my spiritual awakening started. I remember looking up, who is Jay-Z? Like, who is he really? And that's when I came across the Aleister Crowley affiliation and pledge that he gave to Aleister Crowley, who y'all know he was the founder of the Church of Satan. It just, and even with Naomi Campbell, there's certain women you can see dark energy on them. Naomi Campbell's a beautiful melanin queen, beautiful skin, but I've never seen divine light around that woman, just like Mary J. Blige. And I used to listen to Mary J. Blige all the time in my teenage years when I was, going through processing the trauma of what I had been through. And it wasn't until I started to heal that her music no longer, I was attracted to. I had her CDs. I remember throwing her CDs away when I started healing from that. I really feel that what Jaguar is saying right now is true as an empath. There's so many women who have aided and abetted these men because of profitable gain. Hey, bring me some models that's under 18. I'll shoot you however much money, however many K. I'll make sure that you got a spot at this event. I'll make sure that your brand, blows up. Just like right after Aaliyah died, or in my opinion was killed, Beyonce blew the fuck up. You have like you can't look at this shit and act like it's not real when it's right in front of your face. And I know there's a lot of people that love Beyonce. I don't give a fuck what y'all say. I've researched about her and her mother too. From what I can see, they are definitely into some dark black witch magic. And like I said, there's a difference between being, you know, high priestess like myself, where we're here to bring healing to the earth, and being a dark high priestess that conjures up demons and sacrifices animals and does a bunch of demonic ass shit to bring harm to people just because they don't want to fuck with you. Like for me personally, the most I will do is pray a prayer of protection over me. And if I see, feel, and know people are sending spiritual attacks, I'll call upon my angels of light and dark to defend me, not to bring harm to people. And the way that Beyonce's energy controls the minds of people, how they just lose their minds over her, especially at her concerts. I have witnessed her literally speak in Sumerian language that is used to communicate with demons during her concerts. That's why I've never gone to a Beyonce concert. And a lot of people, even here in Houston, people got mad. You're not going? Fuck no. For what? So I can be under the same spell that y'all motherfuckers are under, even though that wouldn't happen to me because I am a high vibrational. But when you know the spiritual realm, you got to protect your energy. You got to protect yourself. These people that y'all love so much be into some dark ass shit. It's just the fucking truth. They really be into some dark ass shit. I had came across an article a few months ago that Beyonce and the Kardashians, Kris Jenner and what is the main Kim and Beyonce purchased a church, and they changed the full interior of the church to all black. And it was said that they were having the same services inside of that church that Aleister Crowley had inside of his. I want y'all to also look up the lyrics to Beyonce's song for my daughter. She says some dark ass shit in those lyrics about basically snitching on herself, about abusing, and I'm just like my daddy. Don't cross me. Now look what you made me do. You're all black and blue. I'm like, so yeah, your mom and your dad both dark motherfuckers. That's why they shit is fucked up now. And I like I said, I don't care who gets mad at me. You can't cancel me because I'm not no huge celebrity. I'm just D. I'm just D. I don't give a fuck about these people for real. All these motherfuckers that y'all praise and worship like their God are dark as fucking. Think about your own energy. Why are you so enamored with people that you don't even fucking know? That you've never even met in real life or spent time with? Shit is wild, bruh. Like for real. It's really fucking wild.
And son, the Harvey Weinstein.
Like I said, you didn't realize you were saying, but it's a very, very, very old adage.
Hold on, I just saw some comments here. Hold on. Oh, they tuning in tonight. Okay. Hold up, y'all. Give me a second. Oh, wow. There's a lot of comments. Okay. This one says, hi, Jag. Was listening to y'all stupid hoe buddy. Y'all dumb as hell. Was listening to the whole Button podcast. They were talking, please say something about M Ford. She called you the Hood Oracle, but literally Jag really is the Hood Oracle. And again, thank y'all for tuning in tonight. I really appreciate y'all. I was not expecting this many people to tune in to my live tonight. Thank y'all so much. Lady Couture said Jag's lies are being debunked. I was an intern at Def Jam when Rhianna was there and none of this happened. Hey, I can't speak on your experience, but I ain't gonna lie. I really feel like Jag is not lying about a lot of this shit. Let's see. June McKenzie 8. Yeah, as an occultist myself, Beyonce is definitely into some type of witchcraft or magic. I've been saying that shit for years. and people got mad at me because, you know, they Beyonce fans. I said, I listened to a couple of her albums in my teenage years, but I don't know. I couldn't really fuck with it. I was like, she cool. And like I told somebody recently, was last month on my Instagram, when they were doing the comparison between Beyonce's If I Were a Boy and Sierra's If I Were a Boy, I said, none of Beyonce's music has ever touched my soul. I like music that I resonate with, that I can feel, you know, and that speaks to me. That's why, again, shout out to the Freestyle King, Little Flip. Flip's music speaks to me. His rap speaks to me. His lyrics speaks to me. I've met him in real life. I know him in real life. Like, people whose music speaks to me, and even some of the local artists that I met here in Houston, when their music spoke to me, after these events, I would go tell them, like, yo, that was dope. I can't say that about Beyonce. She's a good performer, but she's not what I would consider an artist, because an artist can reach you through their music. Let me see. This one says, oh, wait, I think I skipped a comment. Hold up, because my browser's tripping. This one says, what was that song she did when the car was on fire? That I don't know. I would just say maybe Google the song. Let's see. Clarence the Conqueror says, discussion about these dudes calling each other daddy. I also remember these same rappers calling each other God. 2000, 2005. Anyone else have the same recollection? Yes, I do remember that. I do remember that. And again, y'all know that shit goes deep. I really can't pronounce the name. I want to say maybe it's a Quef. Forgive me if I'm mispronouncing it. In that car fire, Beyonce was trapped in the back seat, and when she came out the car, a different person. Thank you. Just like her Sasha Fierce, quote unquote, alter ego. When people say they got alter egos, understand that's a spirit on them. Just like, you know, certain mental illnesses like schizophrenia, bipolar, those are all spirits. In that video, I don't know if y'all remember seeing this video that circulated about, what was it, 5 years ago, when she talked about becoming Sasha Fierce, and she said, something just comes over me and I become her. Yeah, that's a demon that came over your motherfucking ass. Sister Shonda, shalom, brothers and sisters. One love. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for the love, and love right back to you. Busta and Mess song, What's Happening? They call each other God. Busta did a lot around that time. Crush That Busta seems to be on that side. He resonated with me back then. Busta has changed a lot. I used to fuck with Busta back in the day, but lately, nah. Brandon Bazin, Crazy in Love. Thank you for answering that. And Crazy in Love is the one that she did with Jay-Z. That's the one she did with Jay-Z. And I ain't gonna lie, since she been with him, yeah, she blew up, but she lost her mind. You know, the Lemonade song, Are You Cheating on Me? Becky with the good hair. Look, y'all, it ain't worth it. Thank you so much. It's not worth it. If you got to lose your soul and your mind, what is it worth? Bible says that what does it profit a man to gain the whole world and lose his soul? Your soul is all you got. Your soul is your currency. It's not worth it to give that up for these people who are honestly demonic ass motherfuckers behind closed doors. Again, shout out to everybody tuning in tonight. Thank you so much. I appreciate all the support and the views and the comments. Thank y'all.
Birds of a feather flock together.
Show as shit do.
Correct. You know, and honestly, it's been you that's like, because everybody would wonder, like, you know, what was going on, and you've connected some of the dots when you talked about, you know, Rhianna's father, right? Like, he allowed her to come over there, because we would always.
Exactly. That's what I said at the very beginning of the video. How could Rhianna's father allow his 16-year-old daughter to have such a close relationship with a 28-year-old man? Here's my thing. If because like I said, I'm a musician and an artist, and I sing and write music. Of course, my future children are going to be musically inclined. If they wanted to be a part of the industry, you're not going nowhere by yourself. Either me or their father is going to be there with them. You know why? Because I don't trust people, especially after the shit I've been through. I've been through what Jaguar is talking about as a child and an adult. Ain't no fucking way I'm about to let my teenage daughter be around no grown-ass man by herself claiming they're working on music. Because anybody who has been on the other side of the industry, you know what the fuck goes down in studios, even in the gospel industry. It's a whole lot of fucking and a whole lot of drugs and a whole lot of bullshit. And I feel like the parents need to be held accountable. Every one of these artists who have been taken advantage of by these disgusting men in power, your parents are responsible for allowing you to be in that environment, especially without protection. I don't care if she has security. Where are her people? Where is someone from her family that knows her, that can look out for her? I keep telling people, don't be leaving your kids with everybody. Hell, I'm going to be real. I don't even trust relatives because of what happened to me. I don't see me leaving my child with someone who may be carrying unhealed energy and unhealed childhood trauma that may try to inflict that shit on my child. And I've lost 5 to miscarriages from having Graves' disease. But I've seen premonitions of my daughter. When my daughter is born, she will not be left around nobody that I don't trust. I don't care if she's 16, 18. I'm going to make sure you have protection around you. And I'm going to make sure you know how to protect yourself and pick up that phone. And if it ain't me, it's going to be her daddy. But ain't no fucking way. Ain't no fucking way, bruh, at all.
Think like, how could a minor be doing these things? And obviously we would never say anything, but you've connected so many unanswered questions and stuff that we would talk about, that, we were too scared to like bring up. It's like, wow, because I didn't think of Rhianna as a human. I thought her as a client. I didn't think of her as a minor.
He just hit the nail on the head. He said, I did not think of Rhianna as a human. I thought of her as a client. So again, think about the mental conditioning that goes into this industry. Don't look at her as a minor. Don't look at her as a human being. She's a client. Do your fucking job. Essentially, that's what I'm feeling he was probably told, which is so fucked up, bruh. Like, it really is so fucked up.
I thought of her as a client and as an artist.
That I know in LA that they had taking her out and taking her to all the parties and clubs. They didn't find out that she was underage until they went to the Rainbow Room one night and she couldn't provide ID. They were told she was 21 when in all actuality, she had just turned 17.
And see, that's something that's common. A lot of young kids be getting fake IDs and going to clubs and shit. But when you're a celebrity and an artist and you're allowed to hang out and hang around men that are 12 years older than you, come on, man.
You remember when she was in LA right after Upon the Replay broke? That was around the time where they were moving you out and putting her new handlers in.
Right. That's.
Hold on, let me look at these comments right quick. Hold on. Sally says, oh, maybe she was saying weird. Snowflake's Nightmare says, wasn't Rhianna found in a hotel room? Why? Thank you. Why was she in a hotel room at 16? And people talking about this shit didn't happen. Come on now. That Crazy in Love video has the imagery. Why the hell I can't talk? And symbolism of old Beyonce at the start and Sasha Fierce after Jay-Z appears and the trap. Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. Like, just like with Rhianna, good girl gone bad. Then all of a sudden you got Beyonce becoming Sasha Fierce and talking about how something took over her. The fuck? Lady Couture, oh, you was really Beyonce's father from Gadsden, Alabama, about an hour and a half from Huntsville. That's wild. That is wild. And I know about certain shit that goes down in Alabama in terms of spirituality because, like I said, I lived there for about 6 months before my ex and I got our condo in Florida. If parents want to leave their kids, they should at least have the kids wear, thank you, body cams, and have body cam stream live. Exactly. That's what I mean when I say, like, my child, when she's born and becomes teenager, you can go whatever you want, but have the body cameras on you. That way, if some fuck shit happens, can't nobody deny that the shit happened to you because we got the footage. We have to protect our children more. It's too many weirdos out here. We sure as shit do June McKenzie 8 for real. Clarence Conquer. Those of us born in the late 70s, 80s have seen it all. And see, I'm an 80s baby. So the stuff I'm talking about, when I say I've researched it, I literally was that kid. Even though, like I said, I was raised in church, I always was into hip hop and R&B. So I was always listening to the radio and watching the stuff on TV and researching. Like, I would research the artists that I liked because I want to know about them. I want to know about their background. Sister Shonda says, my youngest son is 16 now. When he was 9 to 10 years old, Disney showed an interest in him from some school video he had done and talked to him at school. He came home so excited. I was too. Yeah, unfortunately, Disney is the most corrupt corporation. And I know that for a fact. When I was enrolled in the accelerated technology degree program at Rasmussen School of Design, I actually did a whole research project on Walt Disney and for my animation class, because I had to produce Disney animation. And that's when I found out about the tunnels at all of Walt Disney's residence. Did y'all know that Walt Disney moved out of his house with his wife and his children for the last 5 years of his life? And he moved into his amusement parks that had all the tunnels where allegedly they were performing a lot of sexual satanic ritual abuse on children. As a child, especially the 70s and 90s kids, we grew up on Disney. If y'all remember the old school movie Bedknobs and Broomsticks, y'all remember that? My oldest sister told me that when me and my sister, who were 11 months apart, when we were watching Disney as kids, she said, y'all started doing those chants from that movie and y'all changed. And I remember my sister and Angie and I, we would astro project into each other's dreams. And we would literally fly through the neighborhood we lived in, because we lived in Omaha, Nebraska, and then we moved to Lincoln when my grandma died. And we would wake up and talk about the dreams. That didn't happen until after we started watching those Disney movies. That shit is diabolical, y'all. So Disney's showing an interest in your children. They're showing an interest so that they can recruit that child into becoming a part of their bullshit, their satanic ritual abuse. Thank you, Sister Shonda, for your input on that. And she said, but then when they tried to schedule the initial meeting at 7 p.m. during the week, and they made it seem urgent and was talking like he'll be fine, they haggled me for 2 years. Now, think about that. What corporation is so aggressive about getting your kids? Why are y'all so aggressive about getting my child? It would make me wonder, what the fuck you trying to do to my kid? That's crazy, man. That's like real fucking crazy. Clarence the Conqueror, I run a retail biz and can't wait to use that quote in outsales meeting tomorrow to remind my team of the type who don't treat their client as human beings. Exactly. He said, dang, I remember when Disney was on the news about the missing kids in tunnels. Thank you, under Disneyland. Exactly. And I started exposing that shit, what was it, 4 or 5 years ago? Matter of fact, it was longer than that. I started exposing that shit in like 2016, and people kept calling me a conspiracy theorist. And I'm like, nah, because now the truth is coming out. They don't really have to target innocent. Exactly. And the reason they target the innocent kids so that they can be their victims. Again, the more, like, I've had to research so much as a spiritualist. When I was at that church, which I now realize and recognize was in fact a cult, but at that time I was using my spiritual gifts to cast demons out of people and property, like property that was possessed by demonic forces, people. So I had to study demonology, and I had to study, the darker side of the spiritual realm, because you can't conquer what you have no knowledge of. And so much surfaced about Disney and about the music and the entertainment industry. because it's also the actors. It's also Holly Weird. It's not just the music industry. It's Holly Weird too. They're all in it because they're all a part of the same secret societies and clubs and what they call fraternities, because y'all all doing the same fucking bullshit. Sister Shonda, I'm so glad I went with my gut. I had to just let him know. I didn't know why, but I knew they was going to take him if we went. Tried to offer him something. The Rioche, Holy Spirit, shut that down. Exactly. God was looking out for you and your son, just like Jaguar just told him about. God had his hands on Jonathan and his daughter. Because anytime people are aggressively trying to recruit your child, there is a darker motive behind it. Like straight up. So again, shout out to everybody tuning in and commenting. Because I'm running the video, I'm sharing the screen in another tab. I have to kind of keep toggling back and forth to see y'all comments. But I love when you guys engage with me and we can communicate and talk, because it also confirms that everything I've been talking about for years. I mean, like I said, I started researching this stuff at 11. That was literally when my third eye opened at 11. I started seeing the truth behind the bullshit that they were trying to hide. And I remember telling my parents about it and them looking at me like I was crazy. And I was like, here's some evidence though. Here's proof. Now I get to see it come, full circle in my adult years. Can't appreciate the sunshine without the rain. Exactly, Clarence. So I'm gonna go back to finishing the video because I'm gonna have to jump off here soon because I got to get up early in the morning. But I wanted y'all to see this interview because of how powerful it is.
It's facts. That was a really
She needed you. She needed her original team. And they removed y'all to make sure she had nobody to outcry to.
Exactly. That explains the whole situation of why they moved Jonathan out the way. They not only moved him out the way, they tried to take him out through, in my opinion, through Drake's people, and God spared Jonathan's life and his daughter's life so that Jonathan could be on this platform right now speaking his truth. See, a lot of times when we go through shit, and I'm going through some shit right now, especially with my health, and there's times that you don't understand why you're being tested or why, certain things have happened to you. And then you realize that God had a purpose in all of it. Sometimes our trauma, our struggles, the things we've gone through, God allows us to go through that so that we can give a testimony later. And so we can help people. I mean, imagine if Jaguar Wright and Jonathan had never come together. Imagine if Jonathan had never saw content of Jaguar not being afraid to speak her truth. He wouldn't have had the courage to speak his truth, which not only vindicates what Jaguar Wright has been speaking on, but also exposes even further the fuckery that goes on behind closed doors in this industry. And I just want to point out she has one, two. Oh, I see one right here. That's her son behind her. Wow. Her son is literally right here. And she's got angels of light around her. I feel like Jaguar's being genuine. I really do.
right. And then we were almost blacklisted.
Oh, no, absolutely blacklisted. They didn't tell you were blacklisted. It's just the jobs that you used to get easy. All of a sudden, there were other people. There was a new direction. There were restaurants you used to eat at that were always sold out. Your table wasn't available. It is the shunning.
Yeah, exactly.
Social shunning. And then when people that know who you are, start talking about you behind your back in ways that they never did. And all of a sudden, their career begins to elevate.
Exactly. Like she said, it's the shunning that they do so that you can feel like an outcast. Lord knows I've gone through that because I was raised in apostolic Pentecostal churches. So me coming out about my sexuality, me being attracted to men and women, me speaking my truth about the rape and the molestation that occurred, not only in the house, but physically at the church, I was shocked at the way people shunned me, relatives included, parents included, siblings included. When people don't want you to speak their truth because they're afraid of how it's going to make them look, you will immediately become an outcast, especially in this industry. Because like she said, they didn't want Rhianna to have anyone around her to protect her. Because if she has someone that she can tell, then what they're doing will stop. It's completely diabolical. It is completely diabolical. And I resonate with it so much simply because of what I've experienced in my own life. I take this subject very personal because I remember feeling like, why didn't anyone protect me? Especially after I was raped by my ex-fiance. And we were both members at the church. Instead of people showing me love, like Deion Sanders' video, which I'm going to edit and post this week, he talked about, you know, when he went through stuff, he went to the church. He said, I received judgment in a place where I should have received healing and love, just like with this publicist, where he should have received, you know, accolades for being honorable. He was blacklisted because of what he knew. And like he said, he didn't tell people, but simply the fact that he knew too much and that he could possibly tell people, they came for him physically, they abused and almost killed him in front of his daughter, then they blacklisted him. That's the typical narcissistic behavior where they'll love bomb you and then devalue and discard. The industry is narcissistic as fuck. Do what we say or else. And the industry goes beyond hip hop and R&B. It goes beyond the music industry. It's entertainment, it's religion, it's even education. When I put all the pieces of the puzzle together and I saw the connection between Hollyweird, music industry, religion, churches, especially these mega churches with these fake ass pastors like TD Cakes and Whole Osteen and all these dumbasses, I was like, they are all a part of this pyramid under the umbrella of the Illuminati. And I have actual proof and evidence of it. What they scrubbed off the internet, I saved. And I still have the evidence that shows it. This shit, when I tell y'all this shit goes so deep, it really does go so deep.
Yeah.
It's social engineering.
Exactly. Social engineering is exactly what it is. I'm just jumping in the comments real quick. Okay. June McKenzie said, man, the amount of musicians that I know who have worked with the Demon King, Piaman, demon who works with music, can acquire servant spirits and foresight. Exactly. I was just talking about that. Music can be used to either invoke positive energy or low vibrational energy. Clarence the Conqueror, God only puts us what he knows we can handle. Exactly. And the chosen, we always go through the most because we're the example of persevering through the bullshit, you know, persevering through tough times. And, you know, some people will say, oh, well, you know, this person's going through this because of karma. No, it's because you're chosen. Bible says that in Revelations, in the last days, perilous times will come, and how many will come in God's name that are false prophets. So the chosen going through a lot, because we're chosen, we can overcome it, period. George Witchard says, I remember hearing stuff about P. Diddy back in the 90s all the way down here. Thank you. I said at the beginning of my life, I said, they've been talking about Diddy being down low since the 90s. Literally. Jags 100. She really is. Maybe not 100, but close. And even she admits to misdirected codes. Exactly. She's the most authentic one who has been speaking out. I subscribe, sis. You have a gentle spirit. You take on these topics with the heart. So thank you so much, my love. That really means a lot to me. It really does, because for years, so many people called me conspiracy theorist. And that's why when Jack started to speak out, I immediately resonated with her, because again, this happened to me. You know, I was molested from the age of 8 to 11 by one of my cousins that was a foster child that my aunt and uncle had. And I didn't know until I was an adult that she had been being raped and molested by her previous foster family. And so I battled with that my whole life, especially in my teenage years. And then I remember longing to want to tell somebody. And even at church, one of the Sunday school teachers that was the first time I found out what was happening to me was molestation, because he talked about it. He said, if someone is touching you in these places and you didn't ask them to, tell an adult, because that means someone is molesting you. And I remember raising my hand, and he's like, baby, you have a question? And I immediately put it back down. I said, no. I was so scared. I didn't believe anyone would believe me, because she would like beat me up, because she was a lot bigger than me. I was 8 and she was 13. And she was real tall and big bone. And she had told me, she's like, if you tell anybody, I'm going to tell your mom that you kissed this boy at church, and she's going to whoop you. And sure enough, she told the boy to come to me in the choir room. He gave me a kiss on the cheek, and she called my mom in there, and my mom saw it and beat the fuck out of me when we got home. And after that, I was terrified. I never said nothing about it to nobody. And it's really a terrible thing to go through that as a child and have to carry that your whole life. And if you don't get the help you need, for that trauma to still stay with you. And then, like I said, I ended up getting raped by my ex-fiance when we were both members at that church I'm talking about, Christ Apostolic Temple. We were engaged to get married. And I'd known him since I was 4, but I didn't know his family history until he confided in me one night and said he had been raped by adult women at the church these are members of the church that his parents had babysitting him when they were working. And they were all women. And he said how they would have him watch porn all day from the ages of 3 to 8 years old. He's like, when they would come to our house or I would go to their house, they would put porn on and make me watch it. So I said, that's why you have a porn addiction. I remember he sat in front of the computer for 11 hours straight one day when he was off work. He wasn't even touching himself or anything. He was just watching like it was TV. And I was like, what is wrong with you? Like, that's not normal to sit there and be watching that for that long. Like, and I was seeing the signs, but I didn't know where it came from until he broke down in tears. And he said, I was raped and molested by these 3 women. And these were 3 women that were well known in the church, y'all. Worked in all the offices, all the positions. And then he went on to tell me how his sister molested him as well, because she was raped by their father. And their first cousin raped and molested her oldest son, who was now gay. That's why I take this shit so personal, because it's so common, and it shouldn't be. It should not be common, y'all, especially in the church. That's supposed to be a safe place. So yeah, I am genuine about this. I want every single person on this planet, celebrity or not, if they have done this to kids, I'm calling upon all the angels and answers. Get them motherfuckers exposed and make them pay. I don't care if they're 70, 80 years old. If you did that shit, you deserve to spend the rest of your life in prison. You really do. Because there's something wrong with you that even if it happened to you as a child, and that's what he told me. My ex-fiance, he confessed to me that he had raped his stepsister when he was 17 and she was 14. he said, I black out and I thought she wanted it. And it wasn't until I came out of blacking out and her screaming and beating me that I realized what I had done. That was exactly what he did to me. And when he was forcing himself on me, his eyes rolled in the back of his head and I saw the demon on him. And I kept beating him on his chest, and then he pinned my arms down. I tried to kick him. He pinned me down. And while that demon was on him, he performed that act. That's why I keep telling y'all, this is a spiritual thing. Rape is a demon. Molestation is a demon. Those are demonic presences that take over people who have been victims of childhood trauma that they didn't go and get healed. And I definitely take it to heart. And I appreciate you, Sister Shonda, and everybody else for tuning in tonight. This shit is so real and it's so unbelievable. And I'm just like, Lord, every one of these people, bring them to justice and give the victims justice. Clarence said, mad bitter because they don't understand why they couldn't control prime time like they do LeBron and or like they did Obama. Exactly. I wonder if they interviewed Jonathan Oddie again. Anyone, I think they might have said no, since he tried exposing Puffy at freak off parties in 2018. I feel like a lot of people are going to start to come forward now, especially with Jag, and everybody else coming forward. DNC wouldn't be such a mess if Obama was a natural grassroots leader. These demonic cowards' greatest fear is dying. Exactly. That's why they do the adrenochrome. And that's the other thing. Adrenochrome is what they call the fountain of youth for the wicked. A child's terror produces adrenochrome. And when they shed the child's blood and drink it, it supposedly is supposed to give them, like a lengthy use and make them immortal, which everybody who I know that's done it have all died. They might have lived a long time, but they still died. Wendy Williams said for years that the dealer was gay. She sure as shit did. And you see how they did Wendy. Wendy Williams also has Graves' disease, the condition I was diagnosed with in my 20s that I found out I was born with, and two-time thyroid cancer survivor is me. So I understand fully how Graves can affect you. And even though I was diagnosed with that, I still believe in speaking healing over my body and not actually claiming it. I saw an article earlier today that said Wendy Williams supposedly faked her illness to escape Diddy. You can't fake Graves' disease. It's an autoimmune disease that causes your thyroid, which is the gland in the front of your neck, to produce too much THC, which is thyroid stimulating hormone. So it speeds everything up in your body. That's why even me, sometimes I'll start talking really, really fast or having really fast thoughts, because even after having the left half of my thyroid removed, when they found the cancer, the right half that's left is still overactive. I don't believe Wendy Williams faked her illness. I believe Wendy has a lot of trauma from, having dealt with Diddy, because she did date him for quite some time. Rome, circus, and bread being revealed layer by layer. Exactly. All roads lead back to Rome. Caligula running amok. And that's absolutely true. I talked about that on my last live about the Roman Empire and how that all plays into what's happening today. Most have no legacy to leave behind because they're narcissists, and the rest breed narcissists that are just following the same evil cycle. Exactly. Like Diddy's son. He's already being accused. His oldest son's already being accused of sexual assault by women. And he's parading his girlfriend all in social media. But sir, we have not forgotten about the articles that are out there about you being accused of doing the same thing your dad did. Or people call you a liar and say you're crazy. Exactly. And thank you, Shar, for tuning in. That's what they do. I was so hurt by some of my so-called friends and relatives that thought I was lying when I finally spoke out about what happened to me because I didn't press charges. Well, at that time, this was someone I loved. And I was in shock. I was in shock for a good 6 hours. And he just got up and made something to eat and put on porn like he did every night. He used to make me watch it and practice on him. I didn't love myself then. I was in my early 20s. I had a lot of unhealed childhood trauma, daddy issues, abandonment issues, mommy issues. So what I saw growing up as a child, witnessing abuse and seeing my mother stay, witnessing my former stepdad cheating on her and seeing her stay, I was conditioned to staying with people that were abusive and thinking that my love could change them. And I loved him more than I loved myself. That was also why I didn't press charges. So when people were questioning, well, why didn't you press charges? Well, first of all, the pastor at that time, and when you're in a cult and you're conditioned, you follow the leader. The pastor was like, don't go to the police, baby girl. Just y'all can come talk to me. I'll counsel with you. He was like, we can take him out. Because that pastor also was a Mason and had ties. He's like, we can take him out. It's whatever you want. I said, I don't want him to die. I want him to heal. I want him to go to therapy. I want him to figure out why he's like this. Because in my mind, I felt like if he could get help, maybe we can make it. See, when you have the example of a mother who unfortunately, suffered from abandonment issues too, and witnessed abuse, it's a generational curse. It's a cycle that you pass down to the next generation. So what your daughters see their mothers do, how they see their fathers treat the mother, sets the tone for how they will allow men to treat them. Shard, thank you so much. I'm sorry that happened to you. I am too, but you know what? It made me who I am today. It made me strong. We were all chosen by God for this era. Absolutely, Clarence. Absolutely. Let's make the most of it. Exactly. And that's why no matter what I've been through, and I'm going through a lot right now, I ain't gonna lie, with my health, everything. I even told a few people tonight, I said, I believe that God is going to heal me and I believe God's going to make a way. I really do. The chosen go through a lot so that we can be the example to other people of perseverance. His view of women and sex is distorted because of this. Absolutely. Oh my God. I know it's a lot. I know, trust me. Through the years for me, when the conversation about sick stuff like this, when I bring up women, oh no, people would say it was always men. No, it's absolutely women too. Absolutely women too, unfortunately. Hold on. My browser it scrolled way up to the beginning of the comments. So I want to make sure I get all the comments before I play the rest of the video. Look how bad Bill Clinton looks these days compared to most others in their 70s after slurping that Andrew, right. And I had exposed about Bill Clinton in 2014. There were news articles about girls between the ages of 12 and 14 that were being sent to his room when he was away from Hillary. When he was on tour, doing his thing, still trying to be president, politician. Sometimes I wonder if Bernard Lynch was the first to molest Diddy when he was still in school. Quiet as it's kept, they say that his mom did. That's what has been circulating out in the YouTube streets. And that disgusting, disturbing video of his mom kissing him on the lips multiple times was definitely disturbing. I don't condone none of this stuff. No one deserves things like this to happen to them. But when I talk to women about this stuff, when I say women do a lot of this stuff, they just don't believe it. And George, it's because it's hard for people to believe that women can do that, but they absolutely can. One of my, former associates that's gay told me that the reason he never was with a woman is because he was raped by a woman when he was young. He says she literally, aroused me and got on top of me and made me penetrate her. He's like, and I was crying. It's horrible because it is definitely both women and men. See, that was an example of the graves making my thoughts be faster than my speech. But like I said, I speak healing over that and I don't claim it anymore. SBD, the truth writer, if you are real like this, I'm fine. Thank you, love. I really am. And like I said, I tell people my channel is raw and uncensored. If you got holier than thou ears, don't tune in because I will be cussing because I'm grown. But it's just the passionate side to me. I really want everyone, and even right now, I speak healing to everyone who's been a victim. I speak healing to Jaguar. I speak healing to Jonathan and his daughter. It's horrible that these things have continued to happen and that people in high positions, again, spiritual wickedness in high place, they just allow it to happen. Shar says that, George, I will say there has been a huge uptick of these female teachers. Sure has, messing with these boys in their class, just discussing, like that one woman that got pregnant by the teenage boy, and they celebrated and acted like, oh, it was no big deal because it was a woman. It's still child abuse. The Menendez brothers brought up how their mother was essaying them as well. She also knew the father was raping the boys and did nothing, which explains why they killed him. Not to condone it. We don't condone violence at all in this channel, but I can understand the mentality behind a parent taking advantage of you and it messing your mind up so much that you end up just wanting, you want justice. It's unfortunate because I found out one of my older siblings, we have different dads, that she was raped and molested by her biological father. Found that out literally the day my dad died. And my heart bled for her, still does. And I love her dearly and I speak healing to her. I can't imagine that. I mean, to me, it happened by a foster cousin. I couldn't imagine my biological father ever doing that to me. And I thank God that even though my parents were divorced, my dad was never inappropriate with me, ever. He was never inappropriate. He never was abusive. My dad always prayed for people. He was not perfect. He did abuse my mom at a young age, which led to their divorce, but he was never abusive towards me or, my other sister. So my heart goes out to anyone who has had to suffer that type of abuse. Allegedly, his mom wanted him to watch when she was doing her business. Well, yeah, because they did even talk about that, how his dad was a hustler and his mom allegedly was a madam, and he had to witness things that he should not have had to witness. She wanted him to learn, allegedly. Yeah, and allegedly she taught him to be how he is now. Getting recovery IVs while lip locking. Thank you, with their own mom. Because I remember I showed y'all that video on my last live. I said, now, why is the mom getting drips? Exos, perks, all those different pills make you dehydrated as fuck. My first time messing with Exos when I went to those swinger parties 11 years ago, I had no idea what I was getting into. But because everybody else was doing it and I was in that environment, I tried it. And when I would mess with those, I would be extremely dehydrated the next day. So the fact that Jonathan Hay is talking about how Diddy was doing lines on FaceTime and then promoting for them to do ketamine, I really feel as an empath, the mom is responsible for her son. I really do. I believe that Satan's kingdom, literally very intricate and all consuming. They have to get the temp right for the anti-Messiah. Exactly. Right is wrong and wrong is right. Do what you want. Self-worship, cold hearts. Exactly. Just like Aleister Crowley, do as thou will, which is Jay-Z's inspiration. And even his clothing brand says, do as thou will, with the Aleister Crowley symbolism on it. Menendez's dad has something to do with the Menudo kids. That's so sad. They were also SA. Like I said, I appreciate everybody tuning in and the commentary. I'm going to go ahead and show y'all the rest of the video. I'll go over the Ray J video on my next live, where Ray J called himself calling out Jaguar Wright and then calling her a liar. She ain't lying.
The sad thing about it is every last rapper that you said that fucked you over also happens to be a government informant.
Yeah.
Why would you think that you had a chance against these people when everything that they do, the government seems to ignore? It seems like you're untouchable because you didn't know that they had a deal.
Exactly. What she just said, the government seems to ignore, again, spiritual wickedness in high places. Now it's like the Bible, the verses that I've studied and researched, and even with the Bible we have today was not the original Bible. Of course they're going to cover for them. Of course they're going to let them do what they want to do. When people say, well, the powers that be allow stuff, y'all do realize that powers is the 9 levels of hell, I believe powers is the 3rd level. And keep in mind, the angels, the fallen angels chose to leave heaven. And a 3rd of the angels went with Lucifer. I told y'all before, I died, went to heaven, and came back. And this happened late 2008. My grandpa died November 24, 2008. I was my sickest from Graves' disease at that time. And I had between late 2008 and 2010, I had 13 biopsies, 2 of which came back malignant cells, which meant I had thyroid cancer. And I remember the first time I found out that they believed there was malignant cells, I was angry at God because my grandpa had just died from leukemia. I said, and now you giving me fucking cancer? And I was like, why don't you just take me? Why don't you just kill me now if you ain't even going to heal me? Because that was the human part of me. And that night I died. I literally felt an icy, and it happened while I was awake. It didn't happen in my sleep. I'm gonna be very transparent. I was smoking a blunt and I was angry. And there were dark energies around me. I saw them and felt them. And they said, just give up. God doesn't care about you. He just took your grandpa. Now you're about to die. And I said, you know what? Fuck it. If I'm gonna die, just take me now. And I felt an icy cold hand reach into my chest and stop my heart, and everything went black. And I traveled through time, just like for anyone who's seen Thor Ragnarok, when Thor fell and he traveled through time and it was all the lights and stuff. I experienced that. And I died. I went to heaven, and the angels showed me the levels in heaven. Heaven is like a huge elevator with no walls. And the levels are infinite in heaven, but the levels to hell are much smaller. And how the Bible says there's a great gulf fixed where you can look over and see hell. Oh, I experienced that in real life. And that changed my entire life. That's when I abandoned religion, everything. I unlearned everything I was taught, and I tapped into spirituality. Spirituality is having your own relationship with the Most High that nobody else is a part of. Religion is following someone else's idea of who God is. And the angels told me that religion was not of God, that the lower vibrational entities created religion to control and consume each other. So many things I saw, but I saw that great gulf in heaven where you could look. It's like a super thick ass glass, and you can look and see hell, and you can see the levels of hell. And some of those angels still have light in them. But again, Lucifer transformed into an angel of light. These were powerful angels who once were in heaven. So, and the angels that I saw were very much celestial and what we would call terrestrial. God is not a man. God damn sure ain't no white man. Like they keep depicting that lie. Christ wasn't even white. Christ was, Yeshua, rather, the true Christ was of melanin complexion. And I'll cover that on a whole different lie. The angels confirmed everything. I remember I said, is religion from God? They said, absolutely not. Man created religion. And we did not create you guys to rule over one another. We created you to live in abundance. So the things I'm talking about spirituality and warfare, that is what started my true spiritual journey. After I died, went to heaven, and came back. Y'all know what happened after that? This was the end of November, right? End of the year. First week in January, doctors called me at my office. I was working for Prescription Solutions, our United Health Group. Called me on my desk phone. I guess they had been trying to call my cell phone, and at that time, you couldn't have your phone on. They said, we found cancer in your last biopsy again. I said, okay. He was like, you have any questions? I said, nope. Thank you for letting me know. Hung up the phone and broke down at my desk. I'm in my 20s, y'all, because you don't normally get diagnosed with Graves in your 20s. I was, I think, 27, 28. Boss comes over my desk. What's wrong? I said, I just got a call from my doctor, and he just looked at me. He said, please don't tell me. I said, it's exactly what you think. right at that moment, I valued my life more. I said, Lord, my next breath is a blessing. So if this is where you have led me, if my life is about to end, I want to make everything right with everyone I've ever hurt. I remember going to everybody at my job, if I ever hurt you, please forgive me. It changed me. So keeping in mind, I died and went to heaven, came back, found out I have cancer. And in my heart, I had told God, just take me. What you think and what you speak is a frequency that creates your reality. And I thank God that I was able to go into remission twice, because I went into remission. It was about 3 months. Yeah, because that was January when they called me at my desk. I went into remission in March. I remember telling my friends, and we all celebrated. And then I believe it was either October or November, it came back. And so I ended up quitting my job. I moved back home because I was working in Kansas City at that time. I moved back home to Nebraska, and they did my thyroid surgery. And they, at the time they did my last biopsy, I had 7 tumors, what they call a multinodular goiter. And they said, we cannot rule out cancer. So we're just going to take the left half of your thyroid that has the tumors on it. When I tell you my life journey has been full of ups and downs and experiences that should have killed me, is why I am the way I am today. It made me who I am today. So when people get angry because I don't follow religion, like when people say they're Christians, Christ was not even a Christian. I covered that last year on a video that I edited and uploaded to my YouTube channel. And I believe I even did a live about it. When I researched the true Bible and the Apocryphas, Christ never claimed any religion. If you read the Bible, you see Christ was just out in the streets, just talking to people just like I am. Not in a pulpit, not a bishop, not a pastor, not a pope, having people worship him. That's what the Sadducees and Pharisees did. And that was when I said, Lord, whatever you have for me to do, whatever truth you have for me to speak, I'm going to speak it. Because you spared my life twice. And I'm still here today to speak about it. Like anyone who follows me on Instagram or Facebook, I posted the picture from my thyroid cancer surgery on my birthday. And I said, I'm blessed to still be here. Because I remember being terrified. Am I going to wake up tomorrow? You know? And for those who have, you know, said, hey, thank you for speaking your truth. This is why. Just like Jonathan, God spared Jonathan to speak his truth. God spared me to speak mine. George Wichert says his dad worked for Frank Lucas. Denzel Washington played Frank Lucas in American Gangster. He sure as shit did. You watched Jonathan Hay talk about Biggie's few days ago or a week ago. That was crazy. I'm gonna have to go look at that video. And he says no allegedly because he knows this as a fact. Exactly. And Tennille says, laugh out loud, I don't believe that. Clarence, so good to know that there are other saved warriors like Just D and like at Justice D, and all of you have the same survival stories and drive to crush. Exactly. You know, we drive to cast out the BS. Love each and every, love you back, Clarence. Like I said, I appreciate y'all. Y'all don't understand, because when I tell you, like, my day-to-day has been so horrible for real. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to just do my live. Fuck it. You know, I've been talking about doing it, and I'm going to just go ahead and do it. So again, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Like I call all of my viewers DzPeepz. Y'all are DzPeepz now. So thank y'all for tuning in and for the love. I appreciate it. Watch his interview on The Truth Is YouTube channel. He talks more about how Jay-Z did have something going on with Ree, and Jay-Z participated in bisexual activities. He says no, allegedly. I need a way to screenshot that so that I don't forget the title, because I will go and watch that tomorrow. Well, later today, since it's already after midnight. Thank you for that information. I appreciate it. Yeshua wasn't religious, nor his, thank you, wasn't his disciples. And see, again, me being raised in these apostolic Pentecostal church where they teach heaven or hell, and I said, there's no evidence that Christ followed any religion. There's only evidence that Christ is out in the streets talking to people. and Christ's disciples was thugs. Peter was a thug. And I remember some of my relatives got mad when I talked about that last year. I said, as far as I'm concerned, Christ was a real nigga. I don't care what y'all say. Christ was not, he wasn't on no religious shit ever. So when people say they're Christians and, you know, I go to church, no, baby, you're actually a Sadducee and a Pharisee. If you look in the Bible, in the Old Testament, it talks about how the Sadducees and Pharisees were the ones that, you know, projected all this fake holier than thou energy, but behind closed doors was just like the diddler. Maybe you should watch some Leonard Ravenhill and David Wilkinson and Russ Desire. The moment you genuinely put your life back in God's hands, the lights turn on and your faith creates the path to fulfillment. I absolutely agree with you, Clarence. Like, for real, for real. For real, for real. Let's see. You can have head knowledge, but not heart knowledge. You know, I try not to be rude because I know there's going to be trolls everywhere. But I'm going to be honest with you. If you on here to be talking negative shit, I'll ban you from my channel so quick. Because the trolls that are trying to defend this behavior, as far as I'm concerned, you're just as disgusting as the very people that I'm talking about. Too Strong had Jonathan Hay a few days ago. Interesting. Today was about Tom Hanks. And oh boy, okay, I'm definitely looking at that because I heard some shit about Tom Hanks. I hope God will forgive my spelling of Jim. God ain't worried about you misspelling no words, Clarence. Ain't nobody worried about that. I was about to go to bed just as D and found your voice for the first time. It was meant to happen. Keep grinding and spreading your positive message. God bless and good night. Good night, Clarence. Like I said, I'm going to go ahead and play the rest of the video because it is getting late and I do got to get up in a few hours. But I appreciate all of you so much.
Right.
They had permission to act like assholes and never have to be accountable for it, or so the government said. So they get to fuck over people like you and people like me, people like Aaliyah, people like Rhianna, people like Lauryn Hill, people like Rakim, people like Nas. You know what I'm speaking.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
But even back in 2005, when we had spoke to the FBI,
Yeah.
I didn't think of her
to
like,
see if you were willing to testify against him, so they would know whether or not they were going to have to move you or black.
Right. Right.
but I didn't even.
That's why you were questioned by the.
Because that's what I said before. I said the feds was questioning him to see what would he say. Because again, a real investigation would have led to an arrest, just like with Diddy, just like with R. Kelly. She literally just confirmed what I just speculated not even too long ago. I said, nah, they was questioning him to see if he would snitch and what he would say so that they would know, do I got to get rid of this motherfucker?
Feds.
Right.
That's why your transcripts are on the dark net.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're trying to see where they need to go to clean things up.
Yep.
Yeah. But you know, Jaguar, when I was
More than you think you do. Be forgetful unless you want to be a material witness.
Yeah.
Or you could just come back here in real life on this couch and me and you can talk about a couple of things that I'm sure you have forgotten.
Right. I'd love to.
You know.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, man, Jonathan, we appreciate you for even giving us a tad bit of your time, your knowledge, and your experiences in this industry. And we would be honored to have you come through and actually sit down with us and go through even more history. Again, you had an illustrious career. There are highs, there are lows, but all there is at the end of the day is your truth and how you perceived everything that you took in and what's going forward. So, and again, thank you, Jaguar Wright, for even being able to bring this to fruition.
I got to send shout outs out.
All right. No. So I'm going to stop it there because it's almost 2:00 and I got to be up in like 4 hours. But I definitely appreciate you all for tuning in tonight, for your comments, Daughters of the Most High. Yeah, thank you so much. Like for real, from the bottom of my heart, man. Y'all don't even understand how much I appreciate y'all. Cause I'll share this later, but today has just been a day. And I had posted earlier, um, I'm dealing with some serious medical issues and had an emergency medical situation pop up and was trying to get donations to pay for and take care of things. And, a lot of things just didn't align. I said, okay, Lord, I'm going to trust you. You're going to make a way. And I was feeling so down earlier. And something just told me, man, do your live. Like, fuck the bullshit. Just still do your live. And it's going to help people. So to see this many people tuning in tonight and commenting, good night, Fighting Fathers Alliance. Thank you so much. And everybody who's tuned in, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And again, shout out to my DzPeepz. What encouraged me was right before I started my live, I got a notification from my studio that I hit over 5,000 subscribers. So that made me just smile on the inside. Thank y'all, because everything on my channel is my work. All the videos that I upload are videos that I've re-edited, and that's what I do. That's my passion, is editing and doing multimedia production, digital marketing, social media content management. Keep an eye on Sean Atwood. He is interviewing her soon. Definitely will. And blessings to you back. So I just want to give a shout out to everybody tonight who's tuned in. Shout out to all people that were commenting tonight. Please come back to my future lives. I would love to continue to communicate with y'all. Everybody can follow me on all social media platforms. It's the same tag, just D Show altogether. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. I stopped messing with Twitter a while ago because it just got annoying. I just refused to pay Elon Musk to be on a platform that's been free. But you can definitely follow me. I'm mostly on Instagram. I'm very rarely on Facebook. And TikTok, I pretty much just jump on there to post. I ain't gonna lie. So, y'all can always communicate with me. You can send me messages on Instagram. And she said, okay, thanks, good night. And I'll keep a lookout for your next live. Yes, because I will probably... Well, actually, I may not be able to do my live tomorrow night, but if not tonight or not tomorrow night, then I will be back, maybe like Tuesday, because I do want to cover the Jaguar Wright and Orlando Brown interview because they both dropped a lot of nuggets and it was just honestly hilarious. And then I'll show y'all also, oh, I didn't realize I was still on that page. I'll show y'all also, some more footage, but like I said, to any viewer tonight who has been a victim of sexual abuse or physical abuse or mental abuse, I'm encouraging you to, seek therapy. I know in our culture and especially in the Black community, it's our parents were taught that therapy is not for us, but therapy is the greatest healing tool that you can have. And even if you can't afford a therapist, I believe, I can't remember the name. There's a website where you can get free therapy. When I find the web address, I'll just post it in a comment under this live. And then there are free support groups. There's life coaches that you can work with. These are all things that I've tried and that has led to my healing. So, to anyone who's gone through that, I'm sorry it happened to you. It's not your fault. And you can overcome it just like I did. So, I send love to all my viewers, even the haters. I send y'all love. Y'all haters and trolls can continue to tune in because it's going to help the algorithm anyhow. So I don't care. But if you down in the comments being too negative, I will block and ban you. Just know that. So again, thank y'all for tuning in. Y'all have a good night. And again, shout out to my DzPeepz on the 5,000 subscribers. That is something that was a goal I wanted to reach this week. So that makes me very happy. And to everyone who is spiritual, y'all keep going. Keep pressing forward. Don't let the shit you go through stop you because it's making you stronger. It's making you become the person that God needs you to be so that you can help other people. So again, God bless y'all. Y'all have a good night. And thank you for tuning in.